All right, we are live, everybody. Welcome to the Precision Podcast. This is my special guest, David, also known as Giants Alliance on YouTube. If you guys have not, please subscribe to his channel. Links are below. Hit the link to his Twitter, the link to his channel. All that is below. So, David, I just have a quick question. What made you start a YouTube channel?
That's a good question. The first time I was ever on YouTube was I was on the Entertainers channel. I wrote for G-Man HQ, and I thought I wrote a pretty good article. And I started watching his channel. I thought he was really good. He's entertaining, very informative. So I reached out to him. I wasn't expecting him to really answer back or have me on, but I reached out to him so I could talk about the draft and talk about my article I just wrote about the draft sleepers, and he had me on. I had a lot of fun doing it, and then at work I was actually making YouTube videos for school, and I realized it wasn't as hard as I thought it was, and I kind of enjoyed doing it. So yeah, then I my love is the Giants. Like, that's my number one passion after my family and stuff, of course. But yeah, I love the Giants. I love talking about the Giants, and really my favorite part of doing this whole thing on YouTube is just collabing with people like you.
Yeah.
I love, like, even just going into your live streams and saying what's up, and just, the community is really cool and everyone supports each other, which I think is awesome. So yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on your show. I had a lot of fun last time.
Oh yeah, that was fun too. Yeah, we were just talking Giants and stuff, but yeah, this is a little bit more like talk about whatever you want, whatever the chat wants. Usually I ask a question, then I let the guest ask a question. The guest doesn't have anything, that's fine. Then we usually go to the chat. So yeah, so I had just a random question. You like movies, obviously, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm a big movie guy too, as you know. There's another channel called The Movie Critic with the guy that looks like me. Some people say he is me, but those people are crazy. He's not me. Anyway, what is your favorite genre of like movie to watch?
That's an interesting question. I think probably comedies. Like, I love all kinds of movies. There's actually one genre I don't like, and that's horror movies. I've never been I don't know, it's just never interested me.
David, I like horror too, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I remember you talking about that a couple of times on your show, but yeah, I'm not that into those kind of movies. But
comedy is great though. I love comedy movies.
Yeah, I love comedies.
Can you name a couple of your favorite comedy movies that you like?
Yeah, there's so many. I remember last time we were talking about This Is the End. That's a really funny movie.
I was watching that yesterday again.
Yeah, I just started watching Space Force, which isn't a movie, but it's a really funny show on Netflix with Steve Carell. So that's the kind of humor I like. So I love Step Brothers, any Adam Sandler movie. There's so many funny movies though, like all the Will Ferrell movies, old school.
Oh yeah,
American Pie, obviously. Like when I was in middle school, high school, those are the movies I used to watch over and over. But yeah, I love movies. I'm not as knowledgeable about movies. Like, I can't remember actors' names or even some movies' names. Like, I'm sure you could, because you seem to know a lot about movies. Like,
yeah, it's just.
But yeah, I like movies. I don't know that much about it.
Yeah, I actually took classes in college for it and stuff. I was really like, it's something I really love. It's just so hard to get into it. I actually took acting also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was a fun class to take,
So you were in college. Were you like thinking that was a possibility for your career, was to get involved in like the show business, movies?
I wanted to, but it wasn't like the acting side. I wanted to, and I think it could still happen. Is what I want to do is like write my own movie, maybe, But I'm trying to think of like concepts and new ideas. But a lot of stuff has been done already. So going to movies, though. I mean, I know you say you don't know many actors, but you probably still know like the big, like who's one of your favorite actors, you would say?
Every time I think of my favorite actors, I honestly just think of the funny people. Like, I think any movie that Adam Sandler is in is like automatically good. And I know some people give him some grief because he had a couple of really bad movies, like Jack and Jill comes to mind.
Oh God, yes.
But I think he has a lot of movies that are actually really underrated. Besides Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, like those are his two classics. I just love that he has all the same actors and like all his movies, which I think is cool. It's like his group of friends.
Yeah.
Like goofing off with.
Grown Ups is like that too.
Yeah, I've never. That's actually the one Adam Sandler movie I haven't seen because I know
Wow.
I haven't really seen Grown Ups. I saw like parts of it on TV, but I've seen every single other one. Like there was a movie recently, Murder Mystery. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's actually really funny. It's on Netflix with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
And it's really silly. They got to figure out like who killed the guy in the boat. But yeah, I think any of his movies are funny. I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
You have a favorite actor?
Yeah, my favorite actor, in terms of serious roles, would be like Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale. Those guys are like my favorites when it comes to acting. When it comes to comedy, I do like Adam Sandler. I did like more like back in the day now because now he's trying to actually. I feel like he's trying to come be like a serious actor in like Uncut Gems and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, he's always going to be known as a comedy guy. Also like Steve Carell. I think he's really funny
He's so funny.
When it comes to comedy.
I love Steve Carell.
And of course, Will Ferrell, you know, Anchorman and all that. He did so many good movies, so many funny movies, old school, like the ones that you named. It's funny. There's like different types of comedy, but you know what I mean? Like there's older comedies and there's like the newer comedies. What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's up, Dirty Rob, Colby, Alex, Gold Simmons, Brandon Rogers, Eagles UK. Everybody, welcome to the chat. If you guys have not, please subscribe to Giants Alliance. He is trying to grow his channel, and he's actually been growing pretty quick, which is good.
Yeah, man, I actually give you a lot of credit for that. Like, I don't remember how long ago it was. I think around a month ago.
Yeah.
I was like around 200 subs, and you were pushing. Every time you did a stream, I would say what's up, and you'd always say like, "Oh, go subscribe to Giants Alliance. He's a really good YouTuber." And since then, I feel like that's really helped push me towards 300. And I love making Giants videos. Today, I had an interview with Lance Meadow, who's one of the major voices of the Giants. He does radio.
Yeah, so speak about that. What did you guys actually talk about with Lance Meadow?
It was really cool, man. Like I thought maybe he would want to talk for like 15, 20 minutes because you know he's busy. He has a bunch of shows on Sirius, but he's like, no, you don't have any time limit, and so. We ended up talking for like an hour and a half. I've never had a YouTube video that long, but yeah, it's like over an hour and a half. We were just I was talking about the old Giants teams with Kerry Collins, and we talked about like the Eli Manning era, and then we were talking a lot about the recent Giants. But he was really cool. Obviously, he's really good at what he does. He's a professional, broadcaster. He does basketball play-by-play, but he also has a bunch of shows on the radio. So yeah, it was awesome. I thought it was so much fun. I was surprised he even agreed to come on my show.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. He obviously is really good at what he does. But so that was fun. That was awesome.
Does he have a channel, like a YouTube channel, or not really?
Guy. Well, the Giants official channel has a bunch of like his content. Like he did an interview with like Nick Saban, where he was talking about asking about Xavier McKinney. And so he's on Giants YouTube channel like all the time. He's one of the main guys. Him, John Schmelk, Paul Dottino, even Jeff Fiegels is on that channel a lot. But he creates a lot of content for the Giants. He's part of the Giants radio network. He does the pregame, the postgame for the Giants. He does the halftime show for the Giants on the radio. So yeah, he's really good at what he does. But
that's good. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's always fun interviewing with somebody that well known and in the Giants community, nonetheless.
Yeah, it was fun.
Somebody said to join the Patriots. I don't think Giants Alliance is going to join the Patriots. You'd have to change his name and everything.
yeah, Patriots doesn't rhyme with Alliance, so I can't do that.
Yes. What's up, Steph Curry? Look, we got Steph Curry. We're getting famous here, David. We're moving up.
Steph Curry.
It's the real Steph Curry. Oh my God, it'd be amazing. So rank. This is what I always like to do because we all talk sports here, right? So like rank your favorite sports in order. I'm guessing football is number one, but what is after that? Like what follows?
Yeah, man. I love all sports. I'm really big into football. Football is definitely number one. Playing like when I was a kid growing up, I played football. I was pretty good, I thought, in middle school. I was like one of the best players on the team. High school, JV.
Oh, you play football too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't play in college, but I played all sports growing up. I'd say football is number one. Basketball is probably number two. I'm really into the NBA. I love following basketball. It's just a shame that my team is so bad.
Wait, you're a Knicks fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a huge Knicks
Oh,
fan.
God.
Yeah. And then I would say baseball's number 3. Like for playing, I was actually
I have the same rankings. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a big Yankees fan, but I know you're a Cardinals.
Yes.
But,
you can see.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you into hockey? I'll watch
Yeah.
the Rangers, but I'm not like that into it.
I'll be honest. I used to be, and then I stopped because like football and basketball and all that was just so much. I couldn't even have time for it that much. But I want to watch it when it comes back because, it's going to be the playoffs. The Rangers actually make the playoffs. They weren't supposed to. But now they are because they expanded it. So that's going to be.
So they wouldn't have been in the top 8, right? Like they were outside.
No, they wouldn't have made it. Yeah. Everybody told me that, and I looked at it and they said they would not have made it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
One of my subscribers here, his name is Sports Player 2, Daniel. His favorite is hockey, baseball, football, basketball, and then he said NBA sucks, which I don't agree with. But yeah, how could you not like the NBA?
Yeah, I think the NBA is awesome. Like that's the one sport, football too, but for baseball, I can't watch the games unless the Yankees are playing. But if it's like a good basketball game and I don't even have a rooting interest, I'll sit down and like watch an entire game because I think the NBA is that good. And
yeah, I can't watch baseball unless it's my team or the Yankees or somebody like that too. Because even though I'm not a Yankees fan, I do like to watch their games. My brother is a huge Yankees fan. Yeah, he likes the Rangers.
All the teams that were like the opposite of your brother. Because I remember last time I was on your show,
we were talking about that. Yeah,
sibling rivalry.
A lot of why it happens. It's called sibling rivalry. When you're younger and stuff. Yeah. It's kind of weird how that happened, though. What's up, Stay Cool? Welcome to the stream. Football is Colby's favorite, I think. He said in the chat. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, your rankings are exactly like mine. Like football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Yeah.
You have the same exact order.
Same exact order, yeah. It's crazy.
I know you said you were from Queens, but I was just curious because when I was growing up on Long Island, the biggest sport in terms of like playing with my friends was lacrosse. Like lacrosse is really popular on Long Island, but did they have it where you went to school, or did you ever?
No, not really. But I do know because I know people in Long Island do play lacrosse because like some of my family's from Long Island. And they had a high school team that played lacrosse, and they were like supposedly really good in like Smithtown or something like that. So, yeah, in Queens, it's not that big. In Queens, what people play a lot is basketball. We play basketball a lot. But I guess if you go a little further east, when you head into Long Island territory, that because I'm not in the part of Queens where I'm close to Long Island. I'm actually in the part of Queens closer to Brooklyn, like the Bushwick area and that. So. I mean, I don't know how well you know Queens and the boroughs. Do you know it pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know every single area, but my grandma grew up in Queens, was living in Queens. I used to visit her all the time in Bayside. So I'm familiar with that area. And then my dad is actually from Canarsie.
From Brooklyn. Okay, yeah.
So my grandma lived there, as my other grandma lived there, and I used to go to Canarsie all the time, visit her. And so I was in the city all the time. I went to a lot of games growing up, obviously like Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. But used to go to the city all the time.
That's another thing that's kind of strange is that like you're from Long Island, but you're not a Mets fan. Usually everyone you know from Long Island is a Mets fan.
Yeah,
like
most of my friends are.
Kristen Tatina is a Mets fan, and he's from Long Island, so it makes
sense. Yeah, most of my friends are Mets fans.
Right.
Mets fans too. But like, my dad.
I'm not saying there's no Yankees fans, but it's rare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Long Island definitely has. The most Met fans are located in Long Island, I feel like. But like my dad was actually a New York Giants fan for baseball growing up when they had like Willie Mays, like growing up in like the early '60s, and then the Giants moved to San Francisco, and he said he used to like try to listen to the games on the radio, and he still rooted for them for a couple of years, but it was too hard, so he switched over to the Yankees. And I guess I'm just a fan of whatever teams he rooted for. But yeah.
Today actually was huge for football in terms of like big deals. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this. Chris Jones got a huge deal. Myles Garrett got a huge deal. I don't know if you know the numbers, but Myles Garrett pretty much got $25 million a year, 5 years, 125. That's crazy. And then Chris Jones also got like 4 years, 85 million. You know, what do you think about that though? Do you think that's too much money for a defensive end or a defensive tackle, or do you just think that like this is where the market's headed now? Because Myles Garrett last year also did get suspended. Like, what was your thoughts when you heard the news? Is my point.
Yeah, I thought that was a lot of money for Myles Garrett, but I think he's one of the best edge players in the NFL. I think if there was like a fantasy draft and you could just take any player from any NFL roster, I think he would probably be in like my top 5 because he's really young. I know he had that crazy incident last year where he hit the guy with the helmet, Mason Rudolph. Yeah. But he's so talented. Like, he's such a physical specimen. He's ripped. He's like fast. He's strong. I don't remember exactly how many sacks he had last year, but he's always up there.
He had like 10 sacks last year, but he didn't play the whole year at the same time because of the suspension. He would have had a monster season if he not been suspended, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. So I think, it's definitely good that they locked him up because he's such a good player. He's like, I think after quarterback, the most important position on a team is having a dominant edge rusher, and that's why I'm worried about the Giants defense. We don't really have that kind of guy that teams have to worry about or game plan for, that have to double team or anything like that. So Myles Garrett, I thought that was a lot of money. I didn't think that was like the market for.
I did not think. I was like, whoa, this guy just set the market. Because did you know he's the highest paid defensive player now and the youngest highest paid defensive player ever? So at 24 years old, he's already got tons of money. He's good for a while.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like he's really young, so I think it'll end up in the long term being a good deal. Because I mean, this year and next year is totally kind of it's different than every other year because I think the salary cap might actually go down a little bit without fans in attendance at the games, but after things get back to normal, the salary cap goes up every single year.
I know it does.
Like Patrick Mahomes, I feel like the percent of his salary towards the salary cap towards the end of his contract won't even be that much.
Well, actually, the end of his contract is where he's making most of his money.
It's like backloaded.
It's backloaded. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason they did it when they did it is they wanted to get Chris Jones signed like long term, and I think that with his salary, it kind of freed up some space in like the next couple of years for Chris Jones. And I think Jones is very valuable. Like he's the second best interior defensive lineman after Aaron Donald, in my opinion. So, what did you think? Did you think they both?
I think it was overpaid, but I think, like you said, Myles Garrett this is it. It's overpaid, but the problem is that, I mean, the smart thing is they paid him now, because if they had waited, that market's going to go up. The cap goes up every year. They're going to have to pay him more money. So I get why they did it, but it is a lot of money for a guy. Now, he better make sure he don't get suspended anymore. But that was a freak suspension, I think. I don't think that's like that happens all the time, but he is a great player, like you said, one of the best defensive ends. Still young, so he should be worth the money, but it's also like, damn, I wonder what they're gonna have to do when they have to pay Baker Mayfield and stuff. Like they're, because the thing is, the contract, since Mahomes' contract is so high, now people are gonna be, even like the suckiest guy will get a pretty good contract. Is my point.
Yeah, it's always like the most recent contract price paid. Like
people, I remember just gonna compare to that, and I wonder, like, when Aaron Donald and all those guys' money frees up, like, and their contracts end, how much they're going to make, because they're going to be like, hey, I'm better than this guy and I should be making more or whatever,
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, if you think about it in a sense, like Myles Garrett's really lucky that he didn't hurt Mason Rudolph even more, because if he landed square with the guy's helmet and like, really landed on his head, then Rudolph could have been like seriously injured and like maybe handicapped for life or something. And then we'd be talking about Garrett like never playing again, or so some people were talking about him being suspended for this season too, because it was such like an outrageous thing. Like he seriously lost his mind for like 10 seconds And I remember like Adam Schefter on Twitter, he just said assault, period. Like, I thought that was pretty funny the way he did it. But yeah, it's lucky in a sense because the Browns weren't going anywhere anyway last season. So him coming back with the full season, he's going to be very motivated. I think he'll have a huge year, and obviously he has all the money. So I think everything worked out good for him.
Dirty Rob brought up an interesting thing. He says Shaquille Barrett's going to shatter whatever Miles got. But this is the thing. Shaquille Barrett actually signed a 1-year deal for $15 million. So he has to prove that it's not just that 1 year that he had that was good. Apparently, that was something I was reading about. So he already signed the franchise tender. And also, surprisingly, what's funny is they don't consider him a defensive end. They consider him a linebacker, Shaquille Barrett. So I don't know if he's going to get Garrett-type money or he's going to get linebacker. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. Because he was actually pissed off that he didn't get paid defensive end money because they get paid higher than linebackers do, actually.
Yeah, you make a really good point about him because he was so good last year. Yeah. I remember watching him, even against the Giants, we beat them. Yeah. He was so explosive coming off the edge, and he is a little bit smaller than Garrett. Like, I don't picture him in my mind as a defensive end. He's more of that like pass rush specialist, outside linebacker type. But yeah, you're right. He's definitely going to have to prove it for more than 1 year, and if he wants to get that huge long-term contract.
Yeah.
Although if he does repeat what he did last year, I think 2 years in a row, like being a dominant edge rusher, I think he can definitely get the kind of money that he's looking for. But yeah, I think he'd have to do it 1 more year.
Yeah. That's the one thing I was happy about the Giants. We really didn't overpay anybody in this free agency, which is good. People said Blake Martinez, but I don't think that was really overpaying at all. I mean, $10 million a year is pretty standard.
Yeah.
For a guy that led tackles, he led in tackles. It's pretty impressive. I mean, he's not a guy who's going to cover tight ends and stuff, but he can still stop the run and, blitz after the quarterback and things like that. What did you think of the Blake Martinez signing quickly anyway?
Honestly, at first, I wasn't too excited about it. He's not athletic as I would like in my middle linebacker, but he's really good when the run's like right up the middle. He's a tackling machine, like you said. 2 years ago, he led the NFL. Last year, he had even more tackles, I think. But I think Wagner had the most tackles. And I hope that he's the kind of linebacker similar to Antonio Pierce that kind of just gets everyone lined up in the right spot. He's a leader. Supposedly he has like amazing intangibles. Like guys look up to him. He's a vocal leader. He leads by example. Alec Ogletree was so bad the last couple of years. It's going to be a major upgrade to have like a competent middle linebacker finally. So I think he'll be good. I think hopefully somebody like Cam Brown, Carter Coughlin, Ty Crowder, one of those like late round picks at linebacker can end up playing on our defense more than we think because our linebackers are still pretty slow and unathletic. Like David Mayo he was solid. He was kind of like a poor man's Blake Martinez last year for us.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can improve on that. Yeah, David Mayo.
Connolly comes back too because I thought Connolly.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of okay linebackers, but we don't have like a stud linebacker, like like a Shaquille Barrett or somebody like that, or Chandler Jones. Love Chandler Jones too. What do you think about Marquise Golden though? So he's pretty much going to be a Giant, right? Because nobody's really signing him. It seems like.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Golden as a lot of other Giants fans. I feel like if you watch a lot of his sacks, they were kind of hustle sacks.
Yeah,
he's valuable. I mean. Remember, like Dave Tollefson was an awesome reserve defensive end for those Super Bowl teams, and he would get so many of those hustle sacks. I just don't see him like beating his offensive tackle and getting a quick sack ever. It's always like a coverage sack, or he schemed correctly. He was a good fit in James Bettcher's system, so I'm just kind of predicting. I think he will be on the team, like you said, but I don't think he's going to start or play as much as he did last year. I think he'll be more of like a situational pass rusher or play like a reserve sort of role, even though he did have 10 sacks last year. I don't know. Do you agree with that, or do you see?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I like Golden just because he did get the sacks last year, but I think I don't know how he's going to fit Patrick Graham's scheme, if he's going to use him the same way that Bettcher, because Golden was used in Bettcher when he was with Arizona, and then he used the same with us, just to get after a quarterback. But I hope that he could be good. But I agree with you, man. I don't know. I'm hoping, though, that he could be productive, in this defense. Luckily, we don't have to pay him that much, and I'm okay with him being there if he can prove that he can fit within the system. But I agree with a lot of what you said at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm happy we didn't give him like a huge contract. A lot of people were saying like he's going to get $10 million a year, like a 3-year deal.
No, I didn't want that. I would have been really pissed. Like if he has a really good year, then we'll see. But yeah, that's the thing about what we were talking about though, about like the money going up. I am scared that Leonard Williams is going to want so much money now. You know, he's going to want like crazy money. I don't know, man. I think he's going to be gone after this year, like regardless now. What do you think?
That's what I'm thinking too. The deadline for signing him long term is tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
And he's going to play on the franchise tag, and he's still making, I think, like over $16 million.
Yeah, he's making a whole lot.
So, yeah, I just don't. It's kind of making the trade look bad. But at the same time, if you think about it this way, let's say he has like a decent year. He'll walk in free agency because we end up liking Dalvin Tomlinson better. And I don't see us signing both long term. Mm-hmm. We will get a conditional 3rd round pick, like when he leaves in free agency, just like Landon Collins. We never traded him, but we ended up getting that conditional 3rd round pick for him. And that's how we were able to draft Matthew Pert.
Yes.
The right tackle of the future. So, maybe conditional 3rd round picks. Like you get solid guys at the end of the 3rd round. So
yeah, that's true. I was always hoping we'd get like a center, because I feel like that's one position that we're not like fully set at, but
yeah, I thought we could have drafted. There was a couple of good centers even in the 4th round, like Nick Harris. It was somebody like Tyler Biadasz. Yeah, we passed on a lot of centers. Do you think they have plans that like Lemieux is going to be the center?
Yeah, I think that's who they're going to start, either him or Nick Gates. But I think Lemieux is going to be the guy that starts there. See what he does, Hope it's.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I have a feeling they're going to put Spencer Pulley just because he has more experience in the beginning.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I would much prefer Gates or Lemieux. I just think they're higher up,
So wait, I had a good question that I was thinking about that I want to ask you about. So you've heard the Washington Redskins name is gone. First of all, what is your thoughts about that? Do you think that it should have been removed or should have stayed, or what is your whole opinion on that? And then I wanted to ask you, what do you think they should change the name to now that it's gone?
Yeah, that's fun. That's a good question. Like, I have a similar attitude towards it that Entertainer. He said he doesn't really care either way. He doesn't care if they keep the name, and he doesn't really care if they change it. Like, I do understand, like, if it's something that, offends, like, a big group of people. I don't see why some people care so much that they have to keep their name the Redskins. But I understand the other side of it. Like, you can't always give in to the pressure from like the PC sort of police like that. So I know that's a very political correct answer.
No, I mean,
I just honestly don't care either. Like if it was what I rooted for, I probably would hate that they changing the name. Like if the Giants had to change their name for whatever reason, I would hate that. But maybe because I don't care about the Redskins. I'm very indifferent about that team.
I think the reason it happened was because the sponsors were pulling away from them, like Nike, FedEx, even their own people that were, at the stadium were like, they were like, we're going to back off. But so I know you don't care, but if you were to pick a name for them, what would you go with? Let's say you're the guy that has to come up with the name.
That's a good question. That would be awesome if I got to choose it. Like,
let's say you get to choose a name in the NFL. What would you call the Washington what?
You know what I was thinking about? This sounds kind of cool, but they would never do this. The Washington Generals.
That's the name that actually was. Oh my God!
Is that your pick?
Yes, that's the one that I said should be.
You know what they're famous for? Like the team that always plays the Harlem Globetrotters. I just think it sounds cool, like the Washington.
I swear. David, I'm not even joking. Watch videos. I said Washington Generals should have been the name that it changed to.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even know you said that. I
know. I'm not saying that you knew it, but I'm just saying like it's just crazy. Like that is legit one of the names that I was thinking about. Either that or Washington Red Wolves or something cool. I
think Red Wolves is cool because I think
they shouldn't have changed it. It was for. I think. All right. Personally. A lot of people says they shouldn't have changed it, but I heard that people were getting offended by the name. So if you're offending people, I guess, and it's also like I'm tired of this conversation. We have this how many times have we talked about Washington Redskins losing? Like people always questioning their name. This is like since like early 2000s. I think they were talking about this.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people were calling them like the Washington R words, or like the Washington.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Actually, I listened to Pardon My Take, and they're a very popular podcast, and one of their hosts is a big Redskins fan, and I think he said it as a joke, like Redskins was too offensive for him to say, but so he'd always call them the Washington R words. But yeah, you're right.
When I found out, I used to be like you guys and just say that, but then when Skip Bayless actually talked about this, and this is the first time where actually he had some good insight. He was talking about how like the original guy was using it for like a racist terminology, and he actually made the first coach like Native American, just that way there could be no controversy. Like he did that on purpose, like intentionally, you know.
Oh wow.
It's on Undisputed. You ever watch that show, Undisputed? Normally, I don't really like that show that much because their takes are usually really bad. But when you hear how Skip Bayless talks about the history of where the name came from and stuff, you start saying, okay, maybe they should change it. I don't know. I don't care, like you said, because Giants fan, whatever. But, you know, it is something that we can't ignore. And they are in our division nonetheless, David. So
they're going to make a lot of money, too, because I feel like if my favorite football team changed their entire like mascot and their name, I would want to go out and buy like a new jersey. I just think it would be cool to. I think that aspect of it is good for the Washington football team, whatever they call themselves, because they are going to make so much money on like merchandise. I feel like, so I think Red Wolves would be pretty cool. Actually, I think that's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but I heard a rumor that
a lot of people are saying Red Wolves is going to be cool too in the chat. Red Wolves seems to be early favorite. That wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I mean, there you go. You're not like you changed the name, but it's still cool. Like, yeah, that's what I think. And I also think like it wasn't a great name anyway. Like, you know, you could have come up with something more creative. So I'm going to open it up to the chat as well, guys. If you want to ask us questions, we will take your questions. It could be anything. Doesn't have to be sports related. Seems though every time I say this, it goes back to sports. But you guys can keep it sports if you want. We don't care. Like this, you can talk about anything here. And David, do you have anything you want to talk about? Any question? Anything you're like been wondering about or wondering?
Yeah, I actually meant to ask this before the podcast. We were talking a little bit.
Great.
So you call this a precision podcast? Do you plan on eventually, or do you ever like upload this on like Apple iTunes? Like, you know how podcasts.
Oh, good thing. I have not yet, but I really want to do that in the future. Yeah, for sure, because then people can listen to it. Because I know a lot of people like to listen to podcasts on their way to work or just at home, wherever. Because like I guess people are not even going to work as much nowadays. Yeah. But yeah, I know people love to listen to podcasts. Yes, I just got to figure out how to do that. Do you have any idea how to do that? Because I would love to do something like that, like put it in audio version as well as of this.
Yeah, I have a general sense of how to do it. I'll talk to you about it. I mean, I guess I could tell you now, but I had that conversation today with Lance Meadow that was 90 minutes. So I was thinking I would start a podcast. Like if I have a guest like you on in the future, that would be so much fun. Maybe not even like during a live stream, just having like a regular conversation, or even during a live stream, and then just uploading the audio from the video onto. There's a website called Stitcher.
Oh, okay.
And they'll automatically like upload it to iTunes for you, and there's a lot of other podcast platforms like Spotify and stuff like that. But there's one website that will basically just, if you put the audio file on there, it'll upload it onto any website. So yeah, that's something I was thinking about doing too for like not all my YouTube videos, but certain ones. I would call it a podcast like you. I'm not trying to copy, like doing something similar.
You want to know something funny is that someone said, how is this a podcast? It's not, it's live. And, you know, podcasts are generally not live. I was like, that's not what it means. Podcast just means you talk about series of topics, whether by yourself or with somebody else. I like to do it live just because I can have somebody else do it. You can do it offline too, but I like having the chat there. You know, I like interacting with people, like just reading their questions and seeing what they say and what they think at the same time. But thank you for that, Giants Lines. We'll talk more about how to do that because I do want to, like, you know, upload it there. So that would be great. It's always good, I think, to like have it in multiple places so then people can, you know, sometimes when I'm working, I like to listen to podcasts and things like that.
I feel like podcasts are so much better than other forms of media because so on, like if you watch TV or ESPN or even like the news on like CNN, Fox News, whatever cable news network, the conversations are always like cut short by commercials, or it's like 2-minute sound bites. And I think long form conversation is more appealing for me to listen to, especially if you're like out walking the dog, or like when I'm taking care of my kid, like I'll have my AirPods on and I'm like listening to something while I'm just like watching him, or
that's true.
The commute is the biggest thing. Like if you have an hour commute, like if you take the subway, or even
that's what I was saying. Like when I used to go into work, subway and stuff, I used to listen to podcasts a lot in the morning, but like now I don't need to do that. But I still listen to it, but it's not the same because when you're going
into you're working from home still, right?
Yeah, still working from home. We're not supposed to go back till September. That's what they said. But I don't even know because we'll see what happens. They keep pushing it,
Yeah, it's up in the air. So.
But now they said after Labor Day people should be going back. Now I still don't know because some people don't feel safe yet, even now. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, New York is in a lot better shape than Florida, but it used to be the opposite because they decided to have the NBA in Florida back when it seemed like.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, I'm an Orlando Magic fan, you know that, so I'm happy that it's in Orlando. But I never understood why they chose Orlando. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with Disney, and so since Disney has the rights to so many NBA games, and Disney basically owns ABC and ESPN, I think it has something to do with that. But yeah, I don't agree. I don't think that's the best spot to have it. It is cool though that it's in Orlando. I wanted to ask you because you are into podcasts, and I've been into podcasts. I feel like before most people, like even back in like 2009.
Oh yeah,
like Bill Simmons podcast.
That was Bill Simmons. Oh my God, he's like one of the first to do the sports podcast on ESPN, and it was so great. Yeah.
Yeah. So what podcast? Like, what are your favorite podcasts, and like what would you use to listen to on the way to work?
Yeah, I like Bill. You know who Bill Burr is, the stand-up comedian.
Oh, I love that podcast. Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
I actually saw him in Orlando. I went to Hard Rock Cafe with my brother. He's hilarious. Like, I love that guy. He's so funny.
Yeah, I like Joe Rogan podcast as well. He does very good work. Bill Simmons, I like his. He has his own website too, Grantland and all that. Mm-hmm. Bill Simmons is just funny. Like, I don't like that he's too much of a Boston guy though.
Yeah, he's a homer. Like
he's too much of a homer, too biased with his Boston.
He's so anti-New York too. Like
too anti-New York at times. But he is funny and still interesting. But such a homer when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we actually have some questions in the chat, David. Colby Sports says, "Who are the teams in the NFL you think will drop off this year?" David, you go first, and then I'll go right after you.
That's a good question. I think this isn't a good answer because they were bad last year. I do think Tampa Bay is not going to be as good as people think. I think Tom Brady is going to drop off. He's 43 years old. Like a lot of people are picking him like, oh, he has the best weapons he's ever had. He has like Gronk coming back. I just don't see that. I don't think they're going to be that good this year. I think their ceiling is going to be like sneaking into the playoffs, the wild card. For dropping off, I don't think the Ravens are going to drop off. I think they can be actually even better. Maybe not
improve. I think too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Ravens will still be really good. Mm-hmm. Maybe San Francisco. I thought
they could.
A team that always wins or loses in the Super Bowl has a really bad hangover the next season, and I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was just so bad in the Super Bowl. I don't know if that's going to mess with his psyche because if he made that throw to Emmanuel Sanders at the end of the Super Bowl, they basically would have won the game. And they were winning by 10 in the fourth quarter. They were dominating a lot of that game. Nick Bosa was awesome, but they still found a way to lose. So I think it might be devastating. Just the same way like Atlanta, the year after they lost that Super Bowl, had a very disappointing season. So, yeah, I picked them to win the division, but I think there is a very good chance that they'll drop off. Do you have a team that you think?
I think the Packers might drop off. I don't like what they did in free agency. They didn't really do that much. And then also in the draft, I don't know what they were doing. Like, I get the Jordan Love pick, okay, if you want a successor for the next few years. But then after that, it was like they didn't get a receiver. They didn't really fill up a lot of their needs. And they got another running back when they already have Aaron Jones, who I think is pretty good. That's the NFC and the AFC. Who's going to drop off? That's tough.
Like, you think the Texans maybe? Like the Texans were.
The Texans could, because they lost DeAndre Hopkins. With We'll see, man. The AFC, yeah, that's a good one. Texans. I mean, I could go with that too, because I think the AFC West actually is going to get better. Well, I think the Broncos are going to get better. I think the Raiders are not as bad as everybody thinks. The Chargers, I don't know about. That's going to be a questionable team for me.
Yeah,
because we got to see when is Herbert going to play. Is he really going to be as good and all that? I don't know. We'll see about that. But Vignesh, I like this question a lot. I said, how do you guys think the MLB and NBA season will play out? Any early predictions?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a strange season, like watching the games without fans for both. But I think in baseball, I'm definitely biased, but I think the Yankees are going to be awesome this year. I thought they would have been awesome if there was a normal season. So I'm predicting Yankees Dodgers. I know it's a very boring pick. You probably have a different opinion about who's the best in baseball, but the Red Sox are going to be the worst that they've been in a while, I feel like. But at the same time, there's a 60-game season.
Yeah,
I feel like anything
can happen in this season.
This year.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a team like the Royals that are going to go off to a hot start. And then
it's one team that's in New York that always gets off to a hot start, and it's not the Yankees. It's the Mets. They always start off hot, and then they
that's a good point.
That's what always happens. So I always said, hey, watch out for the Mets. Maybe they don't win the division, but they could sneak in the wild card. They were not that far off even last year.
Yeah, last year the Mariners were the best team in baseball for the first 30 games or something. Yeah. They had a really good record, and then they ended up being the worst team in the entire league record-wise. So usually, if you have 162 games, the best teams will make the playoffs. With that sample size of 162 games, but in a short season, really anything could happen. So that's a little bit worrisome for me because if the Yankees get off to a slow start,
I think Yankees will be fine. But then I also heard Aroldis Chapman got COVID.
Yeah,
I'm sure you heard about that. I mean, he'll probably miss a few weeks. That sucks because that's a big closer for them. But they still have Zach Britt and other people that can step up, I guess.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Aroldis Chapman news? Because you are a Yankee fan. You must have been damn, it sucks.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I'm a little worried too because obviously he's been around the other players, so I don't know if he spread it. And sometimes it takes a while to come up positive if you are having the virus. So I hope that nobody else on the Yankees has it at this point. I thought he was going to have a really good year. I saw pictures of him and he just looked like he added a lot of muscle. I don't know if that's good for a pitcher.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was throwing the ball really hard in his workouts. I follow all this stuff on Instagram, and he looked like he was primed for a really big season. So hopefully he's good for the playoffs because that's when we really need him. And like you said, we have so many guys in the bullpen like Zach Britton.
Yeah,
we have a really good bullpen. So
yeah, the Yankees do. They can have people that step up for him, and I think you guys will still be good because your hitting is so good, and you got Garrett Cole, who's still one of the best pitchers in baseball. So we talked about MLB. So this is what I think it's going to be. I think it should be Yankees Dodgers, but we never have you realized every year people say this and it never turns out that way. Whether it's the Astros or the Red Sox or some other team from the AL, the Dodgers usually do their part. Except last year, it was the Nationals. They somehow that's the thing about baseball. It is one of the most unpredicted sports. People just come out of nowhere. Nobody even thought the Nationals were gonna go make the playoffs, let alone because they were a wild card team, and let alone they went to the World Series and won it.
I feel like baseball, and you might agree with this. Baseball, it's usually the best team doesn't win it all.
Yeah,
during the regular season, but in basketball, I feel like the best team usually doesn't.
Well, most of the time, unless the injuries happen.
Yeah. And football is a little bit momentum too. I feel like in baseball and football, a lot of it has to do with momentum, how well you're playing at the end of the year. Especially,
I know the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and if you win the Super Bowl, you're the best team. But I don't think they were the best team last year.
I think the
Ravens still were the best team. They just got surprised. That's all that happened, And I think I hope that the Ravens prove me wrong this year because I always pick them to do well and then they lose in the first. But I think their defense is so much they've improved it with Calais Campbell and they got Patrick Queen and I just like whoever is the general manager over there, they know what they're doing in Baltimore. Like they've always been successful.
Yeah, that was such an amazing pick to get Lamar Jackson, like the last pick of the first round. He was so good in college too, so it doesn't make sense to me that he like lasted that long. And he was even good from the pocket. He actually threw the most touchdowns out of any quarterback from the pocket last season. So a lot of people say, "Oh, he's only good at running the ball. He's only good because he's so fast." But he's actually a really good passer too. And in the playoff game, he said afterwards that like the Ravens didn't really take the Titans too seriously. They probably thought that it would be like an easy game. They're looking ahead maybe to like the championship game. So yeah, I agree. I think the Ravens were probably the best team last year, but they didn't win it. So
yeah.
That happens in baseball too.
Yeah, in baseball too. The Nationals were not the best team. They just came out of nowhere and just surprised everybody. Their pitching was so good in the playoffs though. Like it was dangerous how good it was. But yeah, so I'm going to pick the Cardinals to go to the playoffs. Yes, we're going to the playoffs. I know a lot of people are saying Brewers and stuff, and yes, I see them maybe as a wild card team, but I think the St. Louis Cardinals will make the playoffs. People always say we're not, and then we do. And in a shortened season, I really do like our chances. I think our pitching is pretty good. So that's baseball. What about basketball? What do you think? How do you think basketball NBA will play out? I think that's going to be more like what you said. It's going to be more predictable.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I actually think the Clippers are going to win the NBA championship this year.
Oh my God! Yes.
You have the Clippers too.
Yes, the Clippers against the Bucks, but
I feel like we think a lot. We think alike on most topics.
Yes, that's why I like.
Yeah, I think the Clippers, when they like hit that second gear. Think about the defense. They have Kawhi Leonard to shut down whoever the other best player is. Paul George is like an all-defensive caliber player. Then Patrick Beverly, I think, might be the best defensive like point guard in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And they have some other really good defensive players too. Like I feel like in the playoffs, they weren't the best team in the regular season. That's true, but I feel like they're gonna hit a second gear in the playoffs, and I think Kawhi kind of conserves himself and conserves his energy throughout the regular seasons. But the playoffs are a different story. And I think, especially because this layoff, I feel like he's going to be fresh and he's going to.
And the Lakers.
I just have the Clippers winning it. I think the Bucks probably win it in the East.
Yeah, that's what
I don't think it's a sure thing. I think like the Sixers, the Celtics, I think the East is kind of like wide open. But I think that in the West, the Clippers are going to win it. And I think they'll win it all.
Yeah.
Who do you like in the East?
I do like the Bucks, to be honest. I mean, they have the best team in the East right now, I think. I just don't know who could stop Giannis over there. The only other team that could probably do it, like you said, is Boston. Is potential. Maybe Toronto. But I really do think it's going to.
Toronto plays really well together. They're like well coached.
Yeah, they play so well together. There's like, and Siakam has like turned into a star. So
yeah.
We'll see. I think the Clippers are the best bet. A lot of people say the Lakers, but I think the Clippers have more depth, and the Lakers keep losing players like that are not going to play. Like they lost Avery Bradley. They just lost somebody recently too, and I'm trying to remember who it was.
Oh, Rondo. I think Rondo.
They said he'll be back, but they lost Rondo, who's a big piece for them defensively, and it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Lakers have the best chance of taking out the Clippers because obviously LeBron, if he's like on his game, and then Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis is a top 5 player, so they have like 2 top 5 players.
Yeah, they do. They can give. It's going to be. I think it's going to be between those 2 teams on the West, between Lakers and Clippers. I just have the Clippers winning in 7. I think it's going to be really close. It's going to be a battle for both of those teams.
Yeah, I want to ask you this question. So, if you can choose one player for this playoffs, would you pick Kawhi or LeBron? Like who do you consider like the alpha of the NBA, like the best player?
Yeah, okay.
It's been LeBron for so long, but I think now it's kind of a question.
I like LeBron, but I like Kawhi a little more because he does more on the defensive side. But, yeah, that's the only reason why. And he's younger, so I'm going to go with that. And like I just think that Kawhi has been really good in the playoffs, and he is like the only guy that I know that like besides the Warriors that beats LeBron. Like remember when he was on the Spurs, he beat them.
Yeah. And that was before
him and Duncan, yeah, like, and Duncan was older at that time, so it was basically Kawhi, you know.
Yeah,
he's just a great defensive player. Great, like he's great in the playoffs. Even when he was on Toronto, they would have like lost the 76ers, but he hit that shot, you know, a crazy shot. Like Kawhi's clutch. I would rather have Kawhi by like a little bit over LeBron.
Yeah, I think it's very close, but I do think Kawhi is slightly better for the reasons you said. Like he's definitely better on defense. Yeah. And I feel like his downfall, like when he was on the Spurs, he used to get knocked for not being like a great shooter, but he's become like a very good shooter, even on threes. And I feel like at the end of the game, he can get like that little like 14-foot jump shot off. And it seems like he could get that shot at the end of the game. And he's very clutch, like you said, in the playoffs. He was so clutch last year.
Exactly. And LeBron sometimes passes it off, and I'm like, oh, why you pass it? And then the guy misses it. I mean, sometimes it works out for him. Like,
it's like the worst basketball play. Yeah, he's such a good passer that I feel like it's just in his DNA to like make the right pass. But
I remember one time he passed it to Haslam. I don't know if you remember Udonis Haslam. He passed it to him. And I'm like, what are you doing? This guy's not even that good. And he took the shot and he missed it, and they lost the game. It's like, come on. You need to.
There's a lot of examples of that. I remember Cleveland used to do that too because he didn't have like great teammates. I give LeBron so much credit because I remember
amazing,
on Cleveland he used to win like 60 games during the regular.
He had like no players on that team. Like really,
that player was like Barajao or like Mo Williams or something.
He went to the finals with that team too in his only second year. That was crazy. They lost to the Spurs. But
oh yeah, they got dominated by the Spurs. But just for him to make the finals,
I think was crazy that they even made it. Yeah, to the finals.
Yeah, to make the finals was really impressive that year. So.
Yeah, no super teams forming to stop Kawhi. Okay, now we got who do you think will get the 8th seed in the West? That's tough.
Yeah, because like in the East, is it settled? I think.
I mean, it's pretty settled. Okay, these are the 3 teams that can have the 8th seed: the Nets, the Magic, and the Wizards. But the Wizards are 5.5 games back, and they also Bradley Beal's not going to go play. John Wall is not playing. So pretty much their whole team is decimated. So they're pretty much out. So it's between the Magic and the Nets. And listen, the Magic are only half a game away from the Nets for that 7th seed.
Yeah.
So what I think in the East will happen is that the Magic will get the 7th and the Nets will fall to the 8th because the Nets have been decimated. I'm pretty sure you've heard about all the people that's got Corona and that's like, you know, injured that are not going down there. You know, Kyrie's not going to be there. Kevin Durant's not going to be there. Spencer Dinwiddie's not going to be there. DeAndre Jordan's not going to be there. Michael Beasley just got Corona actually today. The news came out.
Because I saw that they signed Beasley.
Yeah, they just signed him a few days ago, and now they're saying he had to go back because.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember was one of the first players I heard had it. I feel like they've had the worst luck with Corona out of any.
They have. The Nets have had it the worst. Even Kevin Durant had it at one time.
Yeah, he was one of the first players I remember hearing, and I was in shock. But so many guys have had it since then, and I thought the Nets like possibly they could get Durant back if they got Kyrie back, they can make some noise. But it doesn't seem like Durant's going to even try to play this year, which is smart, I think, because I don't think he would have been that good like coming off a major injury. I think it's smarter to just come back slowly, maybe next season. So
for me, I think the Nets would fall to the 8th seed. Who do you think on the East? And then we'll go to the West. Who do you think on the East would go to the 8th, have the 8th seed?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Magic will end up getting the 7. So the Magic will have 7, Nets will be 8, and then the Wizards are out of it, right?
No, I don't think they're gonna make it. It's gonna be so. I don't even know why they're playing when they don't have 2 of their stars two stars. Like their whole roster is gonna. And they gotta win. So they gotta win like 6 in a row and hope that the other teams lose like a bunch because they're 5.5 games behind.
So I wish the Knicks were playing, but they're not even
playing. The Knicks didn't even.
They're like one of the only teams not playing or not in Orlando.
There's a few others, but they're one of them.
Yeah.
So in the West, who do you think is gonna get the 8th seed? That's the question now. There's a bunch of teams. There's like so many. They're all close.
Yeah. I don't know if they're fighting for a spot, but I do think Dallas could be dangerous because
Dallas I think already has a seed higher than that. They're
higher. Okay, so they're already safe to be in the playoffs.
I'm pretty sure they're good. I haven't really looked at the West standings that much, to be honest with you. I'm more of an East guy, so I pretty much pay attention to that. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, chat, just tell me. I think that, like, yeah, wait, the standings are here. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, Karam
Yeah,
says
Dallas are 7th, and they're pretty much secure. Like, they can't really lose it. So I'll tell you the teams that have the chances, though. It's the Grizzlies, the Trailblazers, Pelicans, Kings, and Spurs.
Yeah, I kind of favor the Spurs whenever they're in it because I just think Popovich is one of the best coaches ever. And I feel like coaching is going to matter so much in this kind of strange season where the guys are living in a bubble and maybe they won't be as focused, or you know what I mean? I feel like Spurs, I don't know how far back they are.
But they're 4 games behind the Grizzlies, so it's going to be kind of
Oh,
hard.
they're 4 games back.
Yeah, 4 games back. That's
them. I like the Grizzlies. I like a lot of their young players.
I think it is going to be the Grizzlies. I'm going to go with the Grizzlies because they're 3.5 games above even Trailblazers.
I like
games, so you got to think about that too. You know?
Or he might already be, but yeah, I could see the Grizzlies being a fun team to watch. Obviously, they're not going to get past the first round, but
Trailblazers and Pelicans have the same record, so those two are pretty much tied. So they're 3.5 games back.
Yeah, I mean the Blazers obviously have a lot of playoff experience. They're always in it. Dame Lillard,
Yeah,
but he's always good in the playoffs. So I would say they have the edge, but I could just see John Morant because I think he's going to be a superstar. He's so athletic. He's somebody I really wanted for the Knicks. But
thank you, Nikki, for just subscribing to me. But don't only just subscribe to me. Subscribe to Giants Alliance as well. Great Giants YouTuber and sports YouTuber. His link is in the description, so please subscribe to him as well. But thank you for subscribing to me. I really appreciate it, Nikki. Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry, it's just somebody said they subscribe, so I always like to shout them out when I hear that they do that.
Yeah, man. I know you're getting close to 1,000 now. So
I can't wait. I'm so excited to get to 1,000.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you set with like watch time hours? Because I know there's
I'm crushing the watch time. My watch time is about 5,000 something. You need 4,000. I have about 5,000, almost 6,000 watch hours because I do stream a lot and I generate like a good amount of views, which is good. Yeah, that's the thing. I stream a lot, so I got my watch time pretty quickly, and I never took any shortcuts. There are people on here that take shortcuts. Don't ever become one of those people.
Yeah. Entertainer told me that one time. I had him on my live stream, and he was like, "There's no shortcuts to getting like more subscribers. Like, you just have to put out good content. You got to be consistent." And that's one thing I noticed with you. Like, you're very consistent. You're always on. Yeah, and like it's a lot. It's a lot of work. I feel like it's a lot harder than people.
Oh, it is. It gets tiring. It does.
Yeah, it's a lot. You have to be on. You know what I mean? So
it was much harder. You know what's funny? It was much harder before COVID because I had to actually go into work and then come back home. And I'm so tired. And then I'm calling a game and then I'm like sleepy. But like, luckily I'm working from home, so I don't have to do that whole commute that tires me out with it. People forget. You know what's so crazy? It's like I didn't think the commute was that tiring, but it does get tiring. And also you have to wake up earlier because I'm going into work, you know, and getting ready and stuff. I don't really have to worry about that, you know. You should do a special event when you get. Yeah, I am gonna do a special event when I get 1,000. But when I get 1,000, I want to make sure that I got, because I've been getting 900 and then falling back down, then going back up. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Have you ever done one of those like 24-hour streams?
Oh no, but I definitely want to do that. I want to do that someday.
I was younger, I would probably.
If I was to do that, David, you know what I would have? I would have to have guests on constantly because I think I would, by myself, I would run out of things to say. I'd be tired and all of that.
Yeah, that's so much harder than it seems. Like I could just, when I was younger, I used to work security, like when I was going to grad school, and I would like pull all-nighters and then go to work the next day and then go to school, and I was fine. But I feel like at my age, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I know some people do that when there's like a big event or something, but
yeah, man, just keep grinding, you know, and your channel's growing a lot, and you already know like the big YouTubers, and they get you on there. That's great, you know, so that you're going to get there. And yeah, just keep working, keep grinding, keep doing it. Don't take the easy way out. When I say easy way out, you know what people do on YouTube? Some people, just to get their watch time hours up. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this, but people actually, they call this a sleep stream. They go to sleep and they literally leave their camera on to get watch time hours. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I do. I've heard of that, and I never really understood why people would do that because like that was common. And then I now that I'm doing YouTube, I understand why they do
Yeah.
that. It's still ridiculous to me. Like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
I just don't understand it. Like, 10-hour stream for 1,000 subscribers, something like that. I'll definitely do that, Bronco Fanatic. I want to. I have done like 5-hour streams, so 10 hours is just double that. 24 hours, I know Bad Dog has done it multiple times.
Yeah.
Whoa, that is hard. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
I
lie.
saw you on his stream on his like last Giants roundtable, which I thought was awesome. I thought that was so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see Bad Dog's like Lakers streams. I've never seen one live. So I just started following him and like a lot of these guys recently. So that'll be a lot of fun when sports comes around. I could have like Bad Dog on the background while I'm watching a game. So, and I know you stream. Are you gonna stream like most of the NBA games? Like,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be streaming a lot of games, like Magic games, but then I'm gonna do some of the other ones too because we haven't had sports. So I want to get back into that. That's another thing. Like, I don't know if you're into calling games, but if you do, that's another great way to grow your channel because a lot of people do like to come in and chat with people that do call games.
Yeah,
basketball always gets me like 1,000 views, so I love it. It's like great interaction, grows my channel, and I'm gonna watch the game anyway, so it's like, why not?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Like I've always wanted to try something like that, but I would love to try it. I don't know if
you should. I mean, see how you like it. Some people don't like it that much, but I honestly love it. Like I do like it a lot. Basketball is very hard though because it's so fast paced, and it's like you're constantly talking while people are writing stuff, and it's like I'm not trying to ignore you guys, but I gotta call the games. I was like, whenever there's a break or whatever, then I try to address the chat at the same time or commercial break or something.
Do you do baseball too, or are you just?
Yeah, I've done baseball, football, and basketball. I want to do hockey, which I haven't done yet, but when hockey comes back, I will definitely do that, like the Rangers, because this is playoff hockey too. This is not just regular hockey.
That's gonna be awesome. I think playoff hockey is.
Yeah, it's always good. I never called hockey, so I'm hoping that it goes well. Yeah. You know what else I want to do is call UFC, actually. I didn't call UFC last time, but I had a lot of fun watching it. And what I did was I did it after the UFC event ended. I went and talked about my reaction and who I thought won and all that and the results. That was really fun. That was something great.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm actually pretty into the UFC.
Oh, you like UFC? Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You like UFC. What did you think of the UFC event that just happened? Because I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. For like a no fans type deal, it was pretty interesting. I liked the fights. They were pretty good.
Yeah, I wanted Masvidal to win. Actually, I have the same account as Usman because a lot of these guys live in South Florida. I used to actually live in the same apartment complex as Amanda Nunes.
Oh, wow!
This is a crazy story. Like right before her fight against Ronda Rousey, do you remember? Yeah. Like that's when she made a name for herself, and Rousey was like the king or maybe queen of the UFC. And it was before that fight. I went to the dog park, and there was only one person there because it was like 100 degrees out, and it was Amanda Nunes. And I kind of saw her with like all these tattoos, and she looked like really strong. So I was like, is that like a UFC fighter? Because I know there's a lot of UFC fighters down here. And it had seen her, and she was like really cool. And my dog was like pestering her dog, and she was like kind of cool about it. She didn't get like mad like some people get mad at the dog park. So that was cool. And I ended up like living right near her, and I would see her like outside all the time. But yeah, I like the UFC. I think it's fun. I think it would be awesome for you to stream because
I just started getting
to like for the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I would just listen to you to just know what's going on because sometimes you look for streams online and it messes.
The funny thing is, I just started getting into UFC. I never really watched it before that much, but it is so much fun. I was watching it with my brother. It was great. All the fights were pretty good, I thought. The only thing I didn't really like the last fight too much because it was like more like what do you call it? Him just like holding him against the cage. But the fight before that, Max Holloway, that was a great one. Max Holloway versus Volkanovski or whatever his name is. That was a great fight. That could have went either way,
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that Holloway got robbed, but I kind of see why they went with the other guy because he did get a couple of takedowns. And some people said he didn't do anything with the takedowns, but if you see at the end, he had a takedown, but the round ended. So I think he would have probably won. What did you think of that one, the Holloway and the Volkanovski? Did you think that he got robbed? Did you felt that way too?
I honestly, I didn't watch all of it. I was I was watching it on and off, and I had
I get that.
I should say, but I think the refs in the UFC are just so bad. Not only the refs, but the judges. So I feel like that kind of thing happens all the time. And Holloway, since he was like a contender, he didn't have the belt. A lot of times you have to like dominate the other person in a decision to like overcome that. So they always if it's close, they always give it to the guy who still has the belt. So
yes. And we got PTA Sports here now. If you don't know who he is, Giants Alliance, he's a Giants YouTuber too. He was on the roundtable with me and Bad Dog. He brought so much energy to the stream, and he was so much fun. I hope he could come on the Precision Podcast. I'll talk to him because I know he said he would love to do collabs and stuff like that. And I want to tell PTA Sports, if you have not, please subscribe to Giants Alliance because he's a great Giants YouTuber and he does roundtables. And maybe one day you'll be on there. Who knows? But please subscribe to him. Check out his content, and vice versa, because it's just so great when so many. And I loved his takes on the Giants. It was hilarious. Did you see that one? That roundtable with me. I
watched the whole thing. It was like Sports Reaction, you and PTA, and I actually subscribed to PTA during that stream because he was really funny. I thought like the whole time it was really entertaining. You guys had like great energy, and PTA was
PTA
hilarious.
had the most energy out of all of us. I was like, I like that. It's good. Yeah, PTA.
So I thought he did an awesome job on that roundtable. It was a lot of fun. Those roundtables on Bad Dog Stream, like the NFC roundtables,
so much fun. I'm so happy that he because I've never worked with Bad Dog. I've been a constant viewer for him for at least 2 years. Mm-hmm. I'm even a member of his channel, and I never had the chance to work with him because he's so busy, and I understand that. But he actually reached out to me because he said he's going to do a roundtable. He likes Giants, smaller Giants creators, and I was like so happy that I was able to get on there and talk with him. That was amazing. Here's another great guy, Hot Take Hockey. Welcome to the stream, Hot Take Hockey. Please subscribe to Giants Alliance. He's a great YouTuber, Giants YouTuber. I'm pretty sure you've seen Hot Take Hockey in like Bad Dog streams and stuff. So he's great, and he loves hockey, but I know he watches NFL and all the other sports too.
Yeah, Hot Take Hockey. Who do you have winning the Stanley Cup this year? Because it is.
Yeah, that's a good question. Who do you have? Is it the Blues again? Because I know the Blues are so dominant. Like they were so good last year, and they're pretty good this year again.
I would love if the Rangers could make it. I don't know if if they have any chance, but
like how Hot Take Hockey has helped my channel a lot, just like how I help yours. So that's always great. We always try to help each other out. Question: what's your thoughts on the rumors of the NFL possibly playing the season in New Zealand? I didn't hear about this at all. Did you hear about this?
No, that's a wild rumor. I can understand why that would be a rumor because supposedly the New Zealand. I mean, they're very much isolated, but they've done the best job out of any country at dealing with the coronavirus. They're basically down to like 0. They barely have any cases. They were really strict about their closing of everything. They shut everything down. But no, I don't think the NFL would be played in New Zealand. I think it might be smart. I think that might
be actually not a bad idea. If New Zealand doesn't have that many coronavirus cases, then it's safe. You always want to play in a bubble when there's a virus going on,
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about this rumor.
Yeah. I think that would be a good idea, actually, but I don't think that's actually true. I just think there's so many logistics that would.
Oh, Hot Take Hockey's already subscribed. Well, whatever. I just try to help out everybody. That's why I didn't know. But if you haven't, please subscribe to Giants Alliance. Great guy. I love talking. So much fun. Like, when I talk to you, I don't even realize like time is going by, but it's like we've been talking for an hour, and I just feel like it's been like 10 minutes.
Yeah, thanks, man. I loved it. This is my favorite part. Honestly, I'm not just saying this because I'm on YouTube right now. My favorite part of starting my YouTube channel is collabing with people like you. Yeah. I'm excited for the roundtable on Saturday with Alex.
It's going to be awesome with the Alex Sports. Yes, guys, on Saturday. Go to
Alex Sports. Subscribe. Alex Sports is the one who told you about me. So I'm
guys, subscribe to Alex Sports, and also on Saturday, me, Giants Alliance, Lewis Sports Network, and Alex are going to do a roundtable on Saturday night. So you guys definitely should check that out. Jeff says, what is your thoughts on the Toronto Raptors going back to the championship and winning?
Yeah, like I said before, I think the East is wide open. And even though they don't have Leonard, they're not going to be as their upside obviously isn't as high as last year with Leonard, who I think is the best player in the NBA, like we talked about before. But they have such a good team. They just play well together. They mesh well together. I think Siakam is actually good enough to be the best player on a championship contender. Gasol was like a really good role player. He kind of took a step back last year in the playoffs. He was always one of the ball dominant centers that led the Grizzlies for all those years, and he was a role player last year. He did his job really well. But they have a lot of really good role players. So Kyle Lowry is still one of the better point guards. So I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if they beat the Bucks. Would I predict that they're going to beat the Bucks? Definitely not. I wouldn't.
No, not me either. I think they have a chance, but I'm going to go with the Bucks like slightly in 6 games. And guys, don't forget the Bucks had them 2-0 last year, and then they just fell apart. But they don't have Kawhi Leonard. That's what my biggest thing is. Who's going to guard Giannis on that team?
Yeah. Giannis. And if you remember last year, they beat the Raptors the first 2 games. They looked dominant doing so. I thought that would be the first series. Yeah, and then they just kind of figured out how to contain Giannis. And the key, obviously, for Giannis is like his shooting from the outside. Because if they just put other guys in the lane and like block him from driving, he's gonna have to hit some shots in the playoffs. And I don't know if he could do that consistently to like win a championship, but if he starts hitting his threes,
then he's even added another layer to his game, which makes him almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
I don't think the Raptors are going to go back to the championship, but I think they'll go to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose to the Bucks. That's what I have right now. Unless something else changes, somebody gets hurt or something. But as of right now, that's what I have. But they could surprise and beat them, like David said. I wouldn't be shocked. Like I wouldn't be like, oh my God. I'd just be like, I'd lose all faith in the Bucks. And I think Giannis would want to leave that team if that happens again, because I know he wants to win so bad. I love Giannis because he works so hard at his game and he tries to get better every year. And he's just such a great player. And he's humble. He doesn't really talk like a lot of shit. So
I think he's going to probably be the face of the NBA like in 3 or 4 years. Obviously, LeBron is still the face today, but I don't foresee him being as good as he is 3 years from now. He's already, I think, 34, 35. So yes. I think the logical next person to kind of be like the most dominant player is Giannis. I think in 3 years, I think he'll definitely be the best player in the league.
Yes. So Brock Fanatic asked me, when I hit 1,000 subs, will I do community posts? Yes, I will. Of course I will. I'm looking forward to that too. That's another aspect that you get. So when you get to 1,000 subscribers, you get this thing called community posts. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. And then write you can do a lot of stuff with it. I've seen a lot of people do a lot of things where you can post links. You can do polls. I love that. That's what I want to do, is get people's idea on polls and stuff. When you get to 1K, which hopefully you do soon, will you do community posts?
Yeah, I used to think it wasn't that big of a deal because I didn't really understand YouTube, but I can wow. No, you're right. Like it is a really big deal because there's a lot of cool things you could do with it. And I think the polls is really important because sometimes you're like wavering over what kind of video you want to make. So you can like put like 3 or 4 ideas, and then your subscribers will look at what kind of video they'd rather watch. And it does increase engagement. And I like that you can like, if you're going on someone else's channel, you could put like a link to kind of shout them out and like let everyone know.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. And I definitely want to help out all the smaller YouTubers because I think that's what people should do. I don't think of this as like a lot of people think of this as like a competition. That's not what I think of it as, just more about community. And that's it. Everybody trying to help another, because when I was smaller, the bigger channels helped me. And I try to do the same, even though I don't consider myself a big channel, but moving up, trying to get more and more notoriety.
I think you're a big channel, like especially because you're close to 1,000 now. I forgot how many subscribers you told me before, but how many did you have on the movie?
Oh, I had like 400 and 450 at one point over there.
Oh wow!
And then I stopped doing it, but eventually want to go back to doing that too, because more stuff is going to come out soon. movie
Yeah,
theaters are actually starting to open up slowly. Have you heard about this, David? And also, they're gonna do time is going backwards. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do you can watch a movie in your car. What's that called again? Like I forgot what that's called. But that's like really
movies.
Drive-in movies. Yeah, they're gonna have that. So it's gonna that's something that's an older concept, but they're gonna start doing that more now because of the COVID and stuff. They're actually doing this in Long Island.
That's really cool, actually. I don't think they have it in Florida, but I would do that. I mean, it's just something to do. Like people want to get out, and people.
Yeah, you get to watch a movie, and you get to stay in your car and get food and stuff like that, so you don't have to like worry about because the one thing is you're all so close in the movie theater, sitting so close. It's like people get worried about getting the virus or anything of that nature. It's just changed everything. Damien says, if we don't get a season this year, how do y'all think it could affect next year with the lockout possibly? Wait, there's a lockout possibly happening next year? I didn't even know about this. Is there
I'm not sure which sport he's referring to, but
I think he's talking about NFL.
NFL?
I'm not sure. Yeah, Damien, if you could specify. But what do you think about that, though?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they came to an agreement this offseason that.
Yeah, I thought they came to an agreement to extend it.
For a few years, we're set up. But it will be interesting if a worst case scenario, there's not a season, how the draft is going to work. Like if there's no college football season, and then people are going to start talking about the draft like really early this year. And that'll be strange with the off season, how that would even work. But I do think like I'm pretty confident there will be a football season.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's so much money in it that they'll find a way to play.
Yeah, and especially with this season, like you don't know how much they're gonna make. They're gonna try to definitely have one in the next season.
Yeah.
Who's your pick? This is a great question. AJ Marshall, thank you for joining. AJ Marshall, if you have not, please subscribe to Giants Alliance. Link is below. He says, who's your pick to win the NBA MVP?
That's a good question. I think it's probably Giannis. I think, like you said, it just seems like every year he gets a little bit better, and he's like he works so hard, like on his body. Like he used to be so skinny. If you remember in the beginning,
first game in the league, he was so skinny. Giannis,
yeah. He's just like a random guy from Greek who's like tall and long, and he's gotten so much better every single year. And those are the guys that end up being like the all-time greats. So I think. I don't think he'll win NBA Finals MVP. I think that's either going to be Leonard or maybe even Paul George, because I think Paul George in the NBA Finals can like take a bigger role offensively. So I like the Clippers in the finals. I think they'll win the championship. But for regular season MVP, I think it's going to go to Giannis. Do you have the same pick?
Yeah, I have Giannis as well. Giannis is one of my favorite, like a guy who's not on the Magic. He's one of my favorite players because of what you said. He works so hard every year. He gets better. And man, I just wish the Magic drafted him because he actually did go later.
Yeah.
We drafted Oladipo, which was a great pick too. But, we actually traded him, which sucks. But I just realized like, damn, we could have had Giannis. But see, the thing is, nobody thought Giannis was going to be this good. If that was the case, people would have drafted him a lot earlier.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard's the same thing because, like, I don't remember.
He was later. He was like the 15th overall pick, Kawhi Leonard. So, there's these guys that always come out like that. And Kobe Bryant was not that high of a pick either. He was later on as well. Surprisingly, he wasn't like a top. I thought he was a top 5 pick. He wasn't. He was later. Kobe. Yeah. And then he was traded, too, to the Lakers, which I'm just like,
the Hornets. I think the Hornets traded Vlade Divac.
Yeah, for Vlade Divac, pretty much. I was like, come on, are you serious?
That was a cool draft. I wonder. This is a really interesting question. I saw there was a video that somebody made to redraft the 1996 NBA draft. So if you're the Sixers and you can do it over, knowing how good these players will end up, I think most people would say Kobe should have been the first pick.
Oh hell yeah!
Who would you pick second though? Because there were so many good players in the 90s.
Yeah, that were
like Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Marcus Camby, Stephon Marbury, Ray Allen.
Yeah,
who would you end up picking second in that draft? I think the Raptors had the second.
After like all the names you just said, they're all so good. It's so hard. I like, probably Steve Nash just because he was such a passer too. I like AI, but I just think he was kind of a selfish player. That was his only downfall. But I think I would have to go with Steve Nash, and he did win MVP too. Steve Nash that one.
Yeah, I think he went back-to-back.
Back-to-back MVPs over Shaq, which Shaq always complains about. Like, how did this guy win MVP? But he was such a great passer, great shooter. Yeah, he's such a great player. Steve Nash was.
Yeah, I think Nash could have even been like a 3-point specialist. He was a really
good shooter. He just didn't shoot it as much as you think he should have. He should have shot.
Made everyone around him so much better. Yeah. Like Sean Marion was really good. Mari Stoudemire, he would like throw him so many alley-oops. Like they had an awesome team when Nash won those MVPs.
Oh, Damien was talking about NFL. Yeah, the NFL already has everything locked up for a few more years. They agreed on a CBA. There will not be a lockout. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Driving movies is good because you won't get COVID in your car. Exactly. That's the whole point of it, you know. And it brings back something that is old school. That is something people used to do in the 80s and stuff. They used to go into the drive-in movie theater, and that's pretty cool, I think. I don't know what most people think about that. I like this thing. He said his top 5 players, which I don't agree with this list, but it's interesting. He said Giannis, Luka, Zion, Anthony Davis. I don't know how Zion got all the way
in 2025.
Oh, in 2025. Oh, I didn't read that.
Yeah. For 2025, I think that's a good list.
That could be a good list in 2025. Yeah. I
didn't
see you brought that. That was a good thing you brought that out because I didn't see that. I just saw top 5 players and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but I think that's a really good list. Another player that I think has a really good chance of being in there is Ja Morant.
Oh, yeah.
I think Morant actually has just as good of a chance as being a top 5 player as Zion. And Zion is such a physical specimen. And I saw him recently. He actually lost a lot of, like, he looked like he gained too much weight before the season, but he looks like he's in really good shape now. And he's just such a physical specimen. He's a little bit like Charles Barkley, where he's not like the tallest player, but he's just so much more athletic than everyone else, where he can get every rebound and obviously dunk on people. But yeah, I think that's a really good list, actually. I think Luka might be a little bit high. I'm not as high on him as some people because he's just not that athletic. He's like athletic enough, but I feel like his upside isn't as high as like Zion or Ja Morant. That's just my opinion. Do you agree with that? Do you think Luka is like properly rated in this list?
Yeah, I mean, he's high for me, but yeah, like he is pretty good. I mean, he could do a lot of multiple things at once. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, he's a good shooter too.
I agree with you though about that part. So wait, somebody. Oh yeah, thank you, Lewis Sports Network. Shout out to you as well. Shout out to you, everybody. Go subscribe to Lewis Sports Network. He is so close to 1,000. He's like literally 40 subscribers. So if you haven't, please subscribe to him. Get him to that 1K. He always shouts me out, so I always feel like I should shout him out back. And he's a great YouTuber. And like I said, we're working with him on Saturday. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. He definitely is very knowledgeable about.
He knows so much about football, basketball, a lot of sports. He's great. And he came on the channel too. Actually, he was right before you, Giants Alliance, on this podcast, and he did a great job. And you're doing a great job. And this is so much fun. Like, that's what I love about it. You get to work with everybody. Cam Chowder says he's okay with the NFL being pushed back and only being 10 games. I mean, I'd rather have 10 games than no season if it had to come to that, but I wish we have all the games. What do you think about that? Are you okay with the NFL season being pushed back and only 10 games?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's better than not having any season.
Yeah.
And I actually did sort of plan for this because every single team for the first 4 games has 2 home games and 2 away. So they planned ahead knowing that there's a possibility they needed to push it back. And I think if they did push it back, it would only be 4 games because I did hear that they set the schedule like that so that every team will have, possibly if there's a 12-game season, they'll have 6 home games, 6 away. So I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. I don't think it will. I think they're going to end up having a full season. I think there's not going to be any fans in the stands, which will be strange, but I think they're going to have to live in like a sort of like a bubble. I don't think they're going to be as extreme as the NBA, but they're going to be tested every single day. And I think they're going to find a way to play these games. That's just my opinion.
I'm hoping they play all the games because then people are going to use excuses. But if they can only play 10 games, I'd rather get that than nothing, at the end of the day. This is great. Karam loves his Thunder. Every list he has a Thunder guy on the list. He said, "Who you got for sixth man of the year?" I got Dennis Schroeder. Not gonna lie. Who do you have for sixth man of the year for the NBA?
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. I mean, the Thunder, everyone kind of wrote them off this year after
And they played damn well. Like, it's crazy.
Good, yeah. And I thought Chris Paul, I thought he was gonna be like upset to be traded to like a non-contender, but he played really hard and he has a lot of pride. Obviously, he's one of the best point guards in NBA history. So yeah, I don't know who I'd pick for sixth man of the year because it's been so long since the NBA has played, so I can't even think of anyone else. But who is there somebody that you could think of that?
Lou Williams. I think he's always a contender, and he always plays well, and he could be one. I like Dennis Schroeder also, so I'm not going to say that that's a bad pick. That's a good pick. But Karam, always looking out for his Thunder players. He's a huge Thunder fan, which I appreciate because it's somebody who's not a Laker fan or a Celtic fan. Like, I like guys who, don't only pick like the most popular teams,
Yeah.
I always like Knicks fans too because they're so loyal most of the time. They stay with the Knicks even though they've been so bad for so long.
Yeah, and that's a hard team to stick with. Like, if you're going to jump from the team's bandwagon, I can understand you lost Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, like 3 MVP caliber players in the last 5 seasons. Not to rub it in, but they do have some nice young pieces at the same time. Like in that Clippers trade, they got a couple guys back that I think are have a lot of potential. I like Gallinari. I've always liked him on the Knicks. So they have a decent team. Yeah, I thought they did well this year.
They do. And this guy says, AJ Marshall, best center, Embiid or Jokic? Who would you take?
I'm impartial to Embiid because I feel like he's more of an old school center that can just like post. He doesn't play like it, but he's capable of being that guy you could just go to down low and he could dominate in the post. So I'm going to choose him. I think he's better on defense. Like his upside is higher. Jokic is really good though. It is close. Like Jokic is a very good passer, and it looks like he lost a lot of weight. Did you see pictures of Jokic?
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight.
So
I love Jokic. Actually, I would rather take Jokic. I know Embiid is probably the better player, but the thing I like about Jokic is he doesn't get injured as much. I can rely on him more. Availability is always important, and I just love his story because he wasn't a guy that was. He's like a Giannis kind of story. Wasn't supposed to be that good, and he turned out to be one of the best centers in the league. I love Jokic. He's such a great player.
He's a fun player to watch. Like the Nuggets are always really fun to watch. So yeah,
and I think he's a better 3-point shooter than Embiid as well. So that's becoming something now. Like even centers are shooting threes. Like that's something like that's changed everything. But Embiid is a great player. I don't want to take anything away from Embiid. He's dominant, but he's always injured. Always.
Yeah. That's a good point about the threes. Like,
yeah,
I grew up. My favorite player by far growing up was Patrick Ewing. Like,
of course, yeah, he was,
great. And like he was actually a really good outside shooter. Like he was so.
He
dominant.
never did it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I feel like if he played today and like today's NBA, threes. Like I just can imagine Ewing shooting threes and stuff. But I think if he practiced it, he probably could have done pretty good at it. It's just something centers didn't do back then. So.
All right. Sports Expert is back. Welcome back, Sports Expert. We're taking questions. So if you have any questions, Sports Expert, please ask us. Great YouTuber as well, guys. Go subscribe over to Sports Expert. He does a lot of great videos.
Yeah, he does the Korean baseball live streaming.
He does the late night. I can't do that. I mean, because those days I usually have work, so I have to get up like in a few hours. So whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, if I did a KBO stream, would I have to start working in the middle? Because I start work at 9, and I don't know when those games usually even end. But that's hard to do. Anybody who does KBO streams has my respect to stay up that late to call it. I personally wouldn't do it, but I know if you could do it, man, props to you.
Yeah, and you get some good numbers in those streams too. Like sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and it's still on, and I just jump in for a bit because it's very difficult to do. So I give him credit.
What fan bases have it so bad they can switch teams without it being a bandwagon case? I like that question. Well, I would say the Knicks are definitely one of those teams that are so bad that if you switched, no one would say you're a bandwagon.
Especially because like the Nets moved into the city. Like the New Jersey.
If you choose the Nets, you would be considered a bandwagon because they have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. People will be like, hey, I see what you're doing there, you know?
Yeah. If you chose them like when they first moved in, when they didn't really
Yeah, no, then no, you wouldn't be bandwagon at that point.
I think the Cavaliers are kind of under that category too.
Yeah, of course.
You have LeBron leave them twice. I know he did bring them a championship, but I can kind of understand that. But that's a good question. I can't really think of any other ones.
Oh, he said like if you're a Marlins fan, who can you pick as a new team? Oh, that's hard because then you got to think it's like baseball. So which team is bad in baseball that you would go to? I guess if you go to like the Orioles, nobody would say anything, or even like some of the teams that don't win that often or that frequently. If you
swing a race like Tampa Bay, they have such a low payroll, and so that's a team that's not going to be like great every year, but they end up like overachieving more often than not, and they always like draft really well. They have great prospects, so I could see changing from the Marlins to Tampa Bay because I'm in South Florida, and they actually do show the Tampa Bay Rays games on TV. So I could definitely see a lot of fans doing that because the Marlins, they're never really contenders, and it doesn't seem like they're interested in winning at this point.
Wait, is this true or is okay? Damien Estrada says, "What is your thoughts on the NFL's players wanting to cancel the season because the NFL's taking 35% of the players' money?"
I don't think that's true. I think
I've never heard of that.
Or there was a possibility that was floated out there that the players, because they might lose money this year, especially with that the owners would actually put the money in escrow. So I think like 35% of the player's salary would be not like a Bobby Bonilla thing, but it might be paid over like installments, like years down the line, because it doesn't seem possible that the NFL like can't afford to pay all their players, but I think that's what the owners are maybe trying to make it seem like. But I do think they're going to, I mean, eventually they're going to get their money. It's just that they'll put it in like installments in future years down the line.
I don't think this is true, Damien. I don't think they would do that, but that is a good point. They are going to lose money, so maybe that was like a proposal, but I haven't seen that gone through or anything like that. I don't think the players would play. Players barely want to play right now. You're taking away their money. They're going to be less incentive for them to play, I think.
Yeah.
He said, Louis Sports Network says, I heard the Ravens are going to have 14,000 fans in attendance on average for home games. What is your thoughts on that? 14,000 doesn't seem like anything.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like I could see every state has different philosophies. But yeah, I wouldn't expect Maryland to be like that. I thought they would shut down, like New York, I'm pretty sure won't allow any fans in any games. But I feel like they can do it if everyone's spread out, and if you only have 14,000 when it's like an 80,000 seat stadium, you could definitely have enough social distancing. It could get complicated, but that would be kind of weird to see. And then I think in Florida, they just opened up Disney World. They just like
that's crazy. How do they open up Disney World?
When we're like
I know it's the summer. I guess that's why they're doing it. They're like, we need to have this. We're gonna lose money, but it's like you guys have the most cases now. Like they keep going up in Florida. Yeah. You open up Disney. I didn't understand that. How about you, David? Did you get that at all? Like why they did that?
No, I mean, it basically comes down to what the governor says. But it's like it's crazy because Florida has more cases than like any country in Europe. So, Florida, it's been over 10,000 a day for like a while now. But at the same time, we're not shutting anything down, it seems like. So, I think with the games, it'll be interesting because I don't know what.
Oh my God!
Or Miami, like how many fans are they going to allow? If they're going to allow people in Disney World, I could imagine them allowing even more than 14,000.
Yeah, like Disney World's, man, theme parks. Like I love theme parks. I love going to theme parks, but this is not the time. Not with this. Until we have some solution to this. This ain't the time right now.
Yeah, they should definitely wait till the numbers are going down a bit.
Yeah. It's just, and especially in Florida where it's like the numbers are at an all-time high.
Yeah.
You're just making it higher. I don't know what they're doing over there. This is what I want to talk about. Your thoughts about I'm pretty sure you've heard all about.
Oh yeah,
everybody's talking about Barkley Madden rankings. Although I will give EA this much credit, they did improve him from an 89 to a 91, but That's still too low for Barkley. Come on, man.
Yeah,
How
man.
is he at 91 only? How?
It's very disrespectful. The guy who does the ratings, like Madden ratings adjuster, is a big Cowboys fan. If you notice,
that's why Ezekiel was rated higher. That makes sense.
Yeah, he's a big Cowboys fan. Like the Cowboys always have very good ratings. The Giants, not that the Giants deserve to have all these great ratings. Like we haven't been good for years at this point, but that doesn't mean Barkley should be bad, and it doesn't mean Daniel Jones should be worse than an undrafted free agent quarterback.
Do you have any idea what his ranking is, Daniel Jones? I wonder what, because they didn't give him a good rating last year.
No, so even at the end of the season, like you know how they do updates.
Yeah. They didn't really improve him much. Like
no, they didn't.
He went to like 70 at his highest, and I was like, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, they're very disrespectful to Giants players. Like I think Barkley, he was just voted by his peers, the other players in the NFL and the coaches.
Yeah, number one.
Right? He's number one.
Yeah.
You're saying some like Madden ratings guy is gonna make him worse than like I don't know Joe Mixon or the same as Joe Mixon, worse than Aaron Jones.
I can understand McCaffrey being number one because he did have such a fantastic season. I wasn't that mad at that, but then Derrick Henry, okay. Then there was like other players. I was like, yeah, Mixon. I think Mixon. You said right. He had a higher rating. I was really confused.
I think he had the same rating as Mixon.
Same rating.
He's a very good running back, but he's not even in the same league as Saquon.
No, I like Mixon, but I don't think he's in Barkley's league. I think Barkley. There's like for me, Barkley's the number one, and then Christian McCaffrey, and then Derrick Henry. Like all those three are really up there. You know.
Yeah, like ask the other NFL players, like the guys who actually have to tackle Saquon Barkley. Like, who would you rather face at running back, Joe Mixon or Saquon Barkley? They'll take Mixon like 99 times out of 100.
And the thing about Derrick Henry, I love him, but he can't catch the ball. So that's another thing you don't have to worry about. With Saquon and Christian McCaffrey, both of them, you got to worry because they're dual threats. That's why I do like Christian McCaffrey a lot. Plus, I had him on my fantasy team last year. So won a lot of fantasy leagues last year because of that. Can't hate on Christian McCaffrey. Great player.
Yeah, the Madden ratings are so bad. At the same time, I used to play Madden a lot. The ratings that actually matter, like the attributes, he's always really good at, like speed, ability, acceleration, break tackle.
He was an 88 this year. Like because he would start off like 90 something, and then he dropped down when it updated.
Yeah. But if you play with him in the game, he
still plays like a 90 something. So
yeah. Because they give him like low awareness and all these.
Yeah. I don't understand what they do with him. I just think it's not fair. I think because he got injured, they really lowered him a lot, which I don't think they should have done.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. And he had a really bad offensive line last year. So
wait, what is this true? I feel like you're making up a lot of stuff, Damien.
Now he's just writing stuff.
Disney erasing The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and the Rise of Skywalker from the Star Wars franchise. Did you hear about this, David? Because I had no idea this was happening. I mean, they should. They weren't that great anyway. I really didn't like the new Star Wars franchise. Let's talk about that. What is your thoughts on this newest Star Wars franchise? Do you even like Star Wars, first of all? And I do.
Yeah. But I'm not the biggest fan. Like, I didn't even see like the original ones.
Oh, let's move on.
So I didn't see them. I just didn't see them until I was like an adult already. Like I didn't.
It's better when you watch it as an adult, though, to be honest. Because when you watch Star Wars as a kid, you're just watching lightsaber battles. Then there's like actually like a lot of political shit going on in Star Wars and family and all this.
It is really good. It is very well done. Like especially the original ones. I thought they were. I did like the recent ones. Like I thought they were fun movies.
Yeah.
The last one with Han Solo's son, I forget his name, Kylo Ren. I thought he was a cool character. I thought that actor is pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I didn't think it was like incredible, but I did have a fun time watching the most recent Star Wars. What are your thoughts on like the recent? Like,
I hate the recent trilogy.
Oh, really?
I really do. I think it's actually worse than the prequel trilogy, which is bad.
The prequel trilogy was pretty bad.
Yeah, but see, the prequel, like at least I liked the last movie that they did in the prequel, the Revenge of the Sith. I did like that movie. It was fun.
Yeah,
I liked to see Anakin, and that Anakin battle between him and Obi-Wan was fantastic. Was so good. But like in Rise of Skywalker and all the newest ones, it was like they were trying to bring back the characters from the older movies with like no explanation. Somehow Palpatine is back. Like what? We saw this guy die.
Yeah, he died in like the original movies, didn't he?
Yeah, and how does he come back? Like what? It made no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
like, I did like the lightsaber from the very first movie in the prequel
And
series.
you know what they did? She tried to pretend to be a Skywalker at the end. She's not a Skywalker. She's a Palpatine. She could have used the name to make it seem like it's a good, like, change Palpatine's history and make that a good legacy instead of a bad one. But instead,
Yeah.
she's like, I'm going to be a Skywalker. But you're not. You have no relations to them at all. Like, yes, you trained with them, but whatever. Like, no one's going to consider you that.
I never got too into her character either. I know she was like the main.
No, I didn't really get into Rey so much. And then they had such an interesting character in Finn. Like, he was a stormtrooper, and he had the Force, but they never ever really let him use the Force. It was so stupid. Like,
did they ever explain like his background, like why he had the Force?
no, not really. It was just pretty much like Rey hinted at it a bunch of times, and you just had to pick up on it. But they didn't really say like, okay, he has a Force. But that was at the end of the movie. You kind of get that he had it the whole time, but he, because she was like, I got to talk to you about something, and it just never happens. It's like,
he was definitely a better.
He was it was such an interesting character that they threw away like entirely because he was a stormtrooper, and you never seen a stormtrooper become like a good guy, and he actually became like a good guy. And I also didn't like Kylo Ren turning from bad to good, and he's like all confused. It's like, man. And then Snoke was such a good character, and they killed him so early on in the movie. I was so pissed about that. What did you think about Snoke originally?
Wait, I don't even know which one Snoke is.
Snoke? Oh, he was the guy that Kylo Ren used to call the supreme leader in the beginning, like in
So it was like his boss.
Yeah, his boss. Like before, Palpatine
killed him.
mix, and then Palpatine's like, "Where do you think Snoke came from?" He pretty much came from him. It was just they were very confused, And you know what sucked is that J.J. Abrams did a good job with the first movie. I thought Force Awakens, but then what happened was they went to Rian Johnson to do the next movie, so the vision changed. And it wasn't like clear, when you change directors and stuff like that. So I think that's what messed it up. See, that's why at least like for the prequel trilogy, they had the same guy, So
yeah, the only thing I remember thinking after is that I wanted Luke Skywalker's character to be in it more because I feel like this movie he was only in for like 2 seconds, and then I feel like he wasn't really doing much. He was just on an island.
They killed Luke Skywalker.
He wasn't really that involved. He was like a hologram.
No, yeah, he was a hologram teacher.
Yeah, like I thought
it was just really sloppy work. I think if they did do that though, David Estrada, that's a blessing to me because I don't think it's not good at all. And it's nothing against Rey. I thought Rey was okay, but it was terrible. Okay, let's see if this. Sorry, I'm late. No, it's okay, man. There's nothing about being late. There's nothing on time. But thank you for stopping by, Valix. Always appreciate you coming in here. The Force Awakens is better than Rise of Skywalker. Yes, it is. Totally agree. Rise of Skywalker was like, I don't know how they were like, all right, Palpatine's back. What? Made no sense. I don't know much about these movies except that it is not a Western. I was attacked for an hour for this. No, I get what you're saying, Rob. Okay, do you consider Star Wars as a space Western at all, David? Because you can look at it that way too, I think. I see where Rob was coming from on that.
Like Bonanza is a Western, but this is like a Western that takes place in space.
Space, yeah.
I never thought about it like that, but it does make sense in some ways. Like
some characters are really like Western characters, like Han Solo. He's like from a Western, like literally from like that type of thing,
Yeah, I actually named my dog Han Solo. I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan, but my last name is Solo, so I thought it was just funny.
I just said it's a loosely space Western and all trace. Yeah, that's just going to happen. It is an opera too, but I believe it could be multiple things. I don't think it's just classified as an opera. I think it's a family drama that could be considered a space Western with some characters like Han Solo. That's how I would categorize it. Star Wars and Star Trek you don't like, I guess. I don't know what you mean by that. Oh yeah, Woj Bomb. Did you hear about what happened with Wojnarowski? Like how he got suspended from ESPN? What was your thoughts about that? I don't think he should have got suspended. He just
I don't think he should have suspended either. But actually, what I thought of when he did it was, do you remember when Bill Simmons was suspended?
Oh yeah,
ESPN, and
yeah.
he wasn't like as I don't even remember exactly what he said, but he said something bad about Roger Goodell.
Oh yeah.
I feel like ESPN would look really bad if they suspend Simmons for talking bad about Roger Goodell, but then Wojnarowski says "f you" to like a senator who's supposed to be like, I mean, more important in our society, even though that's debatable.
Yeah.
But like I feel like that. I think that went into the decision to suspend him because I feel like if they said, "Oh, why would you suspend Bill Simmons for just talking bad about a commissioner of a sports league," and then your top NBA guy could say "f you" to a senator and you don't even do anything. So I feel like he's going to be back by the time the NBA comes around, and it's not really going to matter. But they just have to show that they did something.
Yeah, I get that they did that, but I don't think he should have got suspended. Like I mean, he shouldn't have said what he said. I'm not saying that, but I just think it's such a minimal thing. He just cursed him out and like he didn't agree with what he said. I don't know. I'm a freedom of speech type guy, so I don't think he should have really got suspended for that.
Yeah, I think even the senator who said the things that he didn't like, even admitted like he didn't think that Wojnarowski should have been suspended or penalized in any way.
So if he thinks that, ESPN, get your game together and unsuspend him. Come on, man. Like Woj is one of my favorite guys on ESPN too because he brings all the biggest updates.
Yeah.
That we need.
And somebody made a really good point on Twitter. They said that Woj doesn't really need ESPN, but ESPN needs Woj a lot more.
Woj, I don't know why he's on ESPN. He can just create his own thing and probably make a huge thing out of it. But I think a lot of them do that because, I guess ESPN pays him really well to do what he does.
Yeah.
Because he could do it. If Wojnarowski created his own site or whatever he wanted, he could definitely do it. But
yeah, because he's been working in the NBA for so long. He
gets all the updates. He knows what's going on. He's talking to teams. He's talking to players. He knows everything like that.
Yeah, and he's never going to put out a story unless he knows it's 100% true. So everyone gives him the best information. So yeah, he doesn't need ESPN. If he wanted to, he could leave. But I think it's probably the money that.
Yeah, I agree with this. What Rob says. It's weird that the right, who cares about people getting in trouble for speech, are the ones calling for Woj to be fired. That is entirely true. I don't. I mean,
yeah, that is very hypocritical.
It is hypocritical in that way, in that once.
Yeah.
Yeah, Woj could leave, start a show, and be very. I agree with that. I that's what me and David are saying. That's something he should probably consider. Then he wouldn't have to worry about being suspended. But like he said, I don't think he'll be suspended for too long, and he should be back.
I think he was on Yahoo before he got to ESPN, and he was. I mean,
he was big on Yahoo there too. Yeah, I remember he was on there.
Yeah, but he was huge anyway. Like he doesn't need ESPN.
Isn't it funny what Yahoo's become? Like I remember back in the day, it was like a search engine, just like Google.
Wasn't it like the best search engine?
It was one of the best. People used it all the time. And then what do you call it? Google just blew it out of the water. And so what they did was they went more into sports. They created fantasy sports. A lot of people do. Yeah, when I do fantasy football, I go on Yahoo. I love it.
They still have really good fantasy football.
Yeah, I use their fantasy. I love their fantasy app, and I love the way their settings are. Do you use Yahoo or what? Which one do you use?
Yeah, Yahoo. I have a league that I do every year with my friends from high school, and
we got to do a league together, David. We got to. It's so much fun.
I love that, man. Like if we did a draft, we could do a draft on YouTube or something.
That's what I want to do. Actually, last year I did a live draft on YouTube. Everybody got to see our picks, and it was so much fun.
That would be awesome. I love fantasy football.
Me too. I love fantasy football. Last year I was in like 6-7 leagues. I was just so heavily invested in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would definitely. That would be awesome. I would love to do a fantasy league with you guys. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna incorporate you in that, and we're gonna try to get some people in there. So AJ Marshall says, "Who's your pick to win NBA Coach of the Year?"
I don't know.
That's tough.
Toronto surprisingly has been so good, even without Kawhi Leonard. I think I'm not sure if Nick Nurse won it last year, but
I think Nick Nurse. Wait, did he win it last year? I don't know.
I think he did. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think so too. He's always good, Nick Nurse, man, because I really think he should be a candidate this year because they lost Kawhi and they're still the second seed and they're pretty damn good. He's a great coach. I wouldn't mind if you want to. Yeah,
I'd have to go back and look at the NBA standings because it's been so long. But yeah, he's the first person that comes to mind. I think Toronto just plays so well together. They don't have. I mean, I think Siakam could be considered a superstar, but after that, they don't have another.
Yeah. They don't have another superstar. They have like a lot of really good players all together. I get what you're saying. I feel the same way about that team too.
Yeah, they're a team to watch too. I like watching the Raptors.
If they fire Woj, he goes 100% to Barstool to spite ESPN. ESPN hates Barstool.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah. If he just went like WWE when the guy goes from like a good guy to a bad guy, and he's like, all right, I don't care, I'm going to Barstool, and he would be huge anywhere.
Oh, it was Budenholzer who won. So yeah, Nick Nurse should win this year because Budenholzer won last.
Oh, the Bucks coach.
If he goes to Barstool, that would be great. I love Barstool. I think that's a great.
Yeah, I think they're funny. I love the Pardon My Take podcast. If you haven't listened to it, I definitely recommend it.
I have. I love Pardon My Take. Is great.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. ESPN suspended Woj. I mean, didn't they fire Jamil Hill after she called Trump a racist? They did. They fired her for that.
I didn't know. I know she's not at ESPN anymore, and she used to have like that show.
Different thing. I forgot what it was.
I don't remember
that. I don't think it was that. Damien, are you coming? Are you making up stuff? Because I don't remember that. I know she got fired, but it wasn't for that. It was for something else. I just can't remember at the moment. Jamil Hill, that was a long time ago. Yeah. You know what I miss when ESPN First Take, when they had Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Like, I know Skip Bayless is with Shannon Sharp, but they don't work as well as.
The thing is, like, I do like Max Kellerman a lot. I think he's really good, but he just doesn't mesh well with Stephen A. Smith for whatever reason. I thought Skip and Stephen A. Smith were the best, and I actually do like Stephen A. Smith a lot, and I at the same time think that he doesn't really know that much about sports, but he's still just fun to listen to, and he doesn't. I feel like he knows a lot about the NBA. But if you remember, he said Dwayne Haskins is a scrambling quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't know that. Yeah, I was like, what?
Once, because
no, he's not. He's a pocket passer.
Yeah, he's not athletic at all. So, yeah, he'll say stuff like that sometimes. But I think Skip Bayless is like hilarious. I don't think he really means what he says most of the time. He's just like saying something to get a rise out of people.
Yeah, I don't like Shannon because he's too biased. Like when he likes a player, he just defends it too much, and I can't listen to him. He goes on and on about like.
I haven't really listened to that show.
He puts on the GOAT mask for LeBron and has like his jersey on, and I get that he loves LeBron, but he goes a little bit too far, I think, sometimes. Shannon's just newer to the format they do. Yeah, no, I think Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless were just perfect together, and that's why they were paired together. But what happened was actually Fox offered Skip Bayless more money, so that's why he left.
Yeah, and those kind of shows get really good ratings. So I don't really like those kind of shows too much. But
if she called Trump a racist and that's why she got fired, that should not have happened, because she should be able to say that without getting fired. I don't know.
Yeah, so
I guess if they're like, we don't want her, she represents us, and we don't want that out there, then I guess. But I don't know. It's hard when you're in a corporation like as big as ESPN, because they have to be very careful with how they say stuff and how they do things.
Yeah, and they're governed by Disney. So
yeah, and Disney is so like likes to control everything. They control like half the movie studios now. No, more than that now. Like they bought Fox like movie studios too and stuff. So
yeah, they have so much. And the crazy thing is, like, I was trying to understand why they opened up Disney World. Disney World in Florida is like 12% of their revenue.
Oh yeah,
it's like a huge amount. Considering
that's why they had to open it. They're like, we're losing too much money.
Yeah. So yeah,
are people still going though? I don't know.
I saw that it was like kind of crowded. Especially when they first opened up. Like
do you live close to Disney World?
I'm like 3 hours away.
Oh, okay.
But it seems longer. Like I don't like making that drive. So I went to Disney World once. I have a funny story. We went there. My wife got sick on like the first ride, and we left after like 15 minutes. So.
And then you just never went back there.
Yeah, we went to Orlando. We just like hung out in the hotel because like
Yeah,
you can't go on rides. So I feel like what's the point of going to Disney World if she's gonna get sick on like every ride? So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Skip was already an old ass man during the first Super Bowl. What? Man, I forget he was alive during the Super Bowl. Holy shit, the first Super Bowl. Can you imagine? You could be one of those guys. I've seen all the Super Bowls.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's I think the first one was 1967, and I love watching like the whole highlights when the coaches are like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah,
And
67. Do you know how I know it's 67? Because 69 Jets won the third Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so
that's how I remember.
2 years, and I'm like, yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that the Jets only won that Super Bowl, they never won ever again a Super Bowl after that? That's just
They came close a few times actually. Like when Parcells was coach, they lost to the Broncos in the AFC Championship, and that was a really close game. And then even Rex Ryan made the AFC Championship twice. And I remember one year against the Steelers when the Steelers won it, they really could have won that game. So yeah, they've been close, but they're the Jets, so they're kind of like
yeah. But it's like I feel bad for them because my brother never gets to see, my brother's a Jets fan. He never gets to see them win.
Is he as into sports as you are? Because obviously,
Yeah,
like,
he's really big into sports too.
Oh.
He's the one that gets me into, like, we always have discussions at home and all that when I see him, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he loves sports, loves football, loves basketball, baseball, like kind of like me, you know. Yeah, that's just I stay grinding day after day. Yeah, I mean, I've been taking a few days off because like there has been nothing going on in the sports world. The only news was the Redskins thing and the Madden ratings, but I didn't really feel like talking about it. Then I was like, when we get Giants Alliance here, we'll get his opinions on this because I want to always talk about other people. Now I know a lot of people are like, I don't care about the name, but this is still part of history because in 2020 they won't be called the Redskins anymore. They'll be called whatever it is. That's official. That part's official right now. They're Washington blank. They don't have a name.
I'm gonna still call them the Redskins for like a couple of years. I feel like it's
eventually you're gonna go on to their new name, though. I think, right?
Yeah.
It happens. I mean, we've seen teams change their names in our lifetime too, though. Like, I mean, there's always teams like that.
I remember the crime. I think the crime was really high.
The Oilers switched to the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
I know there were Houston Oilers even before that, but
it used to be the New Orleans Hornets.
And I mean, this is way too old, but the New York Jets were the New York Titans. So
I think the Titans is actually really cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool name. Why did they switch to Jets? They should have just kept the Titans name. Damn it.
Because you have the Titans and the Giants. I feel like that's like a natural rivals. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Question: now that the Patriots signed Cam Newton, who do y'all see drafting Trevor? That's a great question. Now, who do you see? So that means which team do you think is going to be so bad that they're probably going to end up with the first pick and say Trevor Lawrence?
I'm not just saying this because we've been talking about them all night, but I think it's actually the Redskins or the Red Wolves. They're going to be that bad. I think they're going to be really bad this year.
Thank you. Oh my God. I always say the Redskins are the worst team in the NFL. I think the same thing. I think they're the worst team. I think Jacksonville is one of the contenders too. Also, if they're really bad, but I don't think they're going to fall that far down. They will be one of the worst teams. But the Redskins, or whatever their new name is, because I don't know what it is going to be the team that I agree with you 100%. And I've been saying this for a while, that everybody says Jacksonville like automatically, but I look at Jacksonville and I see some talent is still on that team. I think they'll win enough games not to be the worst team. They will be pretty bad, though, I still think.
Yeah. And if you remember, like Josh Rosen was like a top 10 pick. I think he was the 10th overall pick a couple of years ago. The Cardinals, they got a new GM, a new coaching staff. They just got rid of him after one season. So I think the same kind of thing could happen with Haskins. He was only the 15th pick, so it's not like he was a top 5 pick or something. I could definitely see if he has a bad season, which I'm kind of predicting for him, they can just give up, especially if somebody like Lawrence is available. Because I think Lawrence.
Oh, he is so amazing. I like Clemson. That's my team. So it's like, yeah. Oof. He's such a great quarterback. He said,
I want him in our division. That's the thing.
Yeah, I really hope he's not on the Redskins because that's gonna make them really, really good.
Yeah.
Shit, why am I calling them Reds? The Washington Blanks.
Red Wolves. I think it's gonna be the Red Wolves. I
Red Wolves. It'll probably be the Red Wolves, or I hope it's the Generals. I think that's such a fantastic name. Like that should be it.
I saw somebody post on Twitter that like people own the patents, or I think it's rights.
Some people bought the patent, like a guy bought like a bunch of the patents right before they could.
Yeah,
so I think you have to buy it from that guy now or something. I don't know, some weird.
Which is smart. It's the same thing with like domains because I made a website. Somebody already had the.
You can buy this stuff really quickly too. And what were the Redskins doing though? They had so much time. Like I know they never thought they would have to change their name, but they should have been ready. They should have been like, as soon as
talked about for like 10 years.
This has been talked about for years and years. This was a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Snyder, if he really wanted a name, he could just buy the patent or copyright. I think.
Yeah, I don't. And they're agreeing with us. They don't think Jackson will be that bad. Dirty Rob says I don't think Minshew will play that bad enough to warrant a new quarterback. And then he says I don't think Jags will be bad. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they will be the worst team. I don't think they'll be that great either. Jags could be like Miami last year, even though they were gonna be worse. Oh, okay, yeah. Miami was like that. Yeah, I thought Miami was the worst team last year originally, and Cincinnati was like, hold on, I'm gonna show you guys something. But Cincinnati, man, that was just crazy. Because like Cincinnati, when they started the season, they almost beat the Seattle Seahawks. It was a very close game. They lost by 1 point.
Yeah. I think you're right. Like Jacksonville, everyone just assumes they're going to be so bad, just like everyone assumed Miami was going to be so bad this year. But I just think
I actually like the picks Jacksonville made in the draft. They got a lot of good defensive players,
And they still have some decent pieces. I mean, Ngakoue.
Ngakoue, but he don't want to play there at all. Like I think he's threatening not to play. He really wants to get traded, but I don't know if he will before the season starts, because I don't know what team is gonna trade for him there.
Yeah, because you have to give up like a decent draft pick and pay him all that money and sign him to an extension. So we'll probably end up playing Jacksonville.
Justin Fields, what is your thoughts? Because he's saying people are forgetting about Justin Fields. What are your thoughts about Justin?
Yeah, I was surprised how well he played last year. I thought Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs, made a mistake because he should have been starting for them. He was really good last year in Ohio State. He was kind of hurt in the semifinal game. I feel like he wasn't himself, and Clemson was able to come back and win that game. But he's very mobile. I don't know if he's going to be like a top 5 pick, like the second pick after Lawrence, but I do think he'll be like in the top 10 range because he was really accurate last year. Obviously, he had a really good team around him.
Yeah.
But he was always a good. I remember I watched him on Netflix. You ever see that show QB1? And they kind of follow around like.
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, it's a really good show. I love that show, and they did a good job following around Justin Fields. I was able to see him in high school, and he was so athletic. He was like the #1 quarterback in the country, and for whatever reason, Georgia was always really high on Jake Fromm because they had a lot of good quarterbacks that were competing with him, and then that kind of forced Fields to transfer to Ohio State.
It's funny, Jake Fromm had a lot of hype in the beginning, but he's fallen off so much, and like now we don't even know. Like some team took him. I forgot what team took him.
I think he's going to be.
Buffalo took him just in case something happens to Josh Allen. I think.
Yeah. His ceiling I think is.
It just dropped. He was considered a guy that was supposed to go much higher than 4th round, and then he went into 4th. I was like, whoa. And it's funny because same thing happened with Burrow, except the reverse. Burrow was supposed to go, I heard, like 5th round originally. This was what Mel Kiper said. And then he has such a great year last year that he goes 1st overall. And, I guess that's where some people have concerns with Burrow. But I think Burrow has all the talent around him. He's a hard worker. I do like his work ethic. I think he really wants to succeed. And those type of guys usually work out. Not all the time, but usually work out in the NFL. Yeah,
I actually went to Burrow's first ever start at LSU. It was in Texas for like Miami against LSU.
Oh, that's interesting. How was that?
It was the stadium. It was AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play. It was incredible.
It's a beautiful stadium. We beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, dominated the game. It was a good game, but Burrow didn't really play that well. Like he played good in 2018, but he wasn't anywhere close to how he played last year. Like last year, he was just dominant the whole year. It might have been the best season ever for a college quarterback. Like his stats were ridiculous. So I agree with you. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. I don't know right away, but yeah, like you said, he'll eventually be really good.
Yeah, wow. Rob is not sure about Fields. He says, I don't know about Fields. I guess he's not sold on him yet because he said he lost to Fromm, apparently. I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fields will be good. I don't know if he's going to be great. Like I saw someone in the chat said he's going to be the next Lamar. I think that's a little bit.
Yeah, somebody said that. Yes, I think the Press Steelers fan said, yeah, Fields might be something like Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, he is very athletic. He was hurt at the end of last year, so he couldn't really use his legs in the playoffs. But I think he's good. I just don't know if he's going to be like amazing because his decision making. He has so many good receivers at Ohio State, so it's sometimes hard to judge how good those quarterbacks are. Like Haskins looked like an All-American. He was obviously a great college player, but I don't know if it was just because he had a good team around him. So
Yeah, no, I agree, man. That's the thing about Burrow. He had such a great team around him, right? It's like a lot of people think it was just a team, but I guess we'll see, man. I just think he does have a good work ethic, though, because he could have folded. He did get the right offensive coordinator for him, though, because that guy just completely changed him.
Yeah, and LSU had awesome receivers, too.
Yeah, they had awesome receivers. They were stacked all across on the offensive line was good. The receivers were good. I mean, so yeah, but I don't want to take anything away from him still because it's still impressive what he did. You know, he had a great year, and hopefully he has a great year in the NFL. I always like rookies to succeed, you know, especially a guy like Burrow who was actually in Ohio State. Then he transferred to LSU. Did you know about that?
Yeah, that was surprising that, you know, he ends up being so good, but how can Ohio State like kind of miss on that? And I think Urban Meyer is the one who like he knows quarterbacks. Obviously, Tim Tebow was probably the best college quarterback ever. He had Alex Smith when
he was really good with that.
Yeah. So Urban Meyer knows quarterbacks, but he ended up, I think, leaving. So Burrow wasn't. I don't know if he was going to start at Ohio State, and then he was awesome at LSU. I think last year he was incredible.
Yeah, Dirty Rob says first time he saw Lamar play, he knew he was going to be like Vic in the NFL. I don't know, Fields, and I agree with that. I think when I first saw Lamar Jackson play, he had just like the same, like he ran,
like runs around people.
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, and like he was actually the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, he was one year. I was so surprised that he actually fell so far down. Like he fell like that's what I'm saying. Look what the Ravens do. They get a guy like that at the end of the draft, you know?
Yeah. He's a really good passer too. Like he's not just one of
those he's
that can, you know, just run the ball. Like he's
just think about this. Like all these quarterbacks that went ahead of him, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold. I mean, he's better than all of them, I think, right? So it's crazy.
Big time, yeah. I don't yeah,
he's gone to
I think Baker is gonna be a bust.
You think Baker? Okay, so this is interesting. So you think Baker is gonna be a bust. You're done with Baker.
Yeah, I mean, one of my recent videos, I made a video comparing Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones, and I got a lot of hate in the comment section, like the first time that's ever happened to any of my videos. But
anytime you compare somebody to like Daniel Jones, you're gonna get that. Especially like people love Baker on YouTube. A lot of people do.
Yeah, it's just like, first of all, he's short, and I know that's not the end all be all because Drew Brees is a good
Russell Wilson.
But Baker Mayfield is not athletic, so him just sitting in the pocket is not going to work. At Oklahoma, he would scramble around to find those like passing windows. Yeah. Last year, he had 21 interceptions. He had a much better supporting cast than Daniel Jones did. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. This year, he really has no excuses. They got Jack Conklin, who's one of the best right tackles in the NFL. They drafted Jedrick Wills. They're going to have a much better offensive line, but I still don't think he's going to be that good. I've never thought he was a great NFL quarterback, even watching him at Oklahoma. I know he won the Heisman Trophy. But if you remember that season, they were beating Georgia at halftime in the semifinal game, and he did not play that well in the second half. Georgia was able to, like, keep him in the pocket. I feel like if you keep players like that in the pocket, he's not able to, like, scramble. He's not athletic enough to really scramble in the NFL. He ran a 4.8 40, I think.
Yeah.
He's that good. Like, he's an accurate passer. I think his upside is to be like a much worse version of Drew Brees. I think Brees is like
that's a good upside still, though.
Great quarterback, but I just I don't think he has like the composure of Brees. I think Brees is like such a much smarter player. I'm a fan of Baker Mayfield. I've always thought that he was a bust in the NFL.
Another thing with him is he's kind of immature. He really needs to grow out of that. Like, you know, Drew Brees, like he's mature. He's a great player, and like hopefully, if Baker could ever be like Drew Brees, he would take that. You know, but
yeah. But do you remember any other quarterbacks besides Brees? And Brees, if you remember, Brees was on San Diego and they gave up on him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Rivers. So he didn't start out being like an amazing quarterback.
He wasn't amazing, yeah. And he got injured. That's why. They didn't think he'd be the same after the injury.
But there's really no evidence of another quarterback under 6'1" besides Brees that ended up being any good in the NFL that's not like a scrambling quarterback. Like Russell Wilson is so good because he could scramble and find those passing windows. I don't think Baker can do the same thing.
Man, a lot of Browns fans are going to be upset with you, Giants Alliance. They're going to be like, wait, what? No, I mean, I'm rooting for him, though, because like I said, I want to see like the Browns, especially the Browns. Come on. This team, I always want them to succeed because they never do. And this year, they have the best chance because they have like you saw about Myles Garrett, they have so many great players on the offensive, defensive side. They got some great players in free agency too. And
don't forget how good Jarvis Landry is. Like he's one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Landry's better than he's playing better than Odell. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, last year he did, I think.
Yeah, last year he did by a huge margin. You know, I'm saying Odell is more talented, but in terms of who actually played better, it was actually Landry. I guess because him and Baker already had a connection and stuff.
Yeah, there was a Browns YouTuber that commented. He basically wrote an essay in my comment. It was the longest comment I've ever seen. I didn't even know comments could be that long. And he was telling me all the reasons why I had a bad video, and he was kind of nasty about it too.
Oh, they're gonna be like that, yes.
I basically was like, all right, you make some good points in your essay, but if you ever want to come on my channel and I'll debate you in a video, we can do that.
What did he say? Yes, he'll do that, or what did
he didn't say anything back? But he was making all these excuses for Baker Mayfield, like he had bad coaching, he had a bad offensive line. Daniel Jones had worse circumstances than Baker did.
I agree with you 100%, but I think that this is his last chance, Baker, to show something, because people always like to say it was Freddie Kitchens. Well, they got rid of Freddie Kitchens, they got Stefanski, but I think that they should be better because they also got Conklin to shore up that offensive line, which they had issues with.
And Jedrick Wills,
if he can, and Jedrick Wills, and then they also got like they got a safety. I forgot what's it, Delpit. I think Delpit was his name, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty good pick.
He's a pretty good safety, and they already have Denzel Ward and they have Myles Garrett. So if they don't go to the playoffs this year, they're going to put it on Baker, and it's going to deservedly be so. So for me, I'm like, I'm just going to wait until this year to make my decision on him. But so far, you are right. He has last year, oh my God, he played so bad. I had him in my fantasy team.
No.
Always go back to fantasy.
He was really bad last year. Remember the game against San Francisco? And this might have been my favorite moment of the entire season. Nick Bosa sacking Baker Mayfield and then doing the flag thing. Because if you remember, Baker Mayfield planted the flag on Ohio State's field like after Oklahoma beat them. So, yeah, that was awesome. I've never liked Baker Mayfield. If you remember in college, he was arrested and he like ran away from the cops and the cop tackled him.
He also switched colleges also, Baker did.
Yeah, I think he started out at Texas Tech. Yeah.
And then he left Texas Tech. He went to Oklahoma. What I do like about him, though, is he was a walk-on in both colleges, and he became the quarterback in both of them. I mean, he's got the talent. It's not that. I think it's his maturity that he needs, like what you were talking about. He needs to be more mature. He's shorter, so that does put him at a disadvantage. Yes, people have succeeded, but it does help when you're taller to see over the offensive line and all that kind of stuff. And he's got a. Oh, we lost Giants Alliance. I don't know what happened. I think he'll be back. I think he probably closed out by mistake. But what's up, everybody? This podcast is already 2 hours long, so if he had to go, I totally understand it. When you have such a great guest like Giants Alliance, guys, please subscribe to him. I cannot tell you more just please do, because he's so great. His content is good. He knows his football. He knows all his sports. Such a great guy. His link is in the description. Please subscribe to him. And I think he's back. There he is. Yes. What happened, David, over there?
I don't know, man, because like my internet is fine, and then it said like I had no connection. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. Don't worry about it. It happens to all of us. It happens to me all the time. You know, I don't get like it. It's weird. When I'm on my stream, it works perfect, my internet. When I go to somebody else's, for some reason, it starts acting weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's my internet is usually really good, and then randomly it'll just get bad. So yeah, I have a better computer, but the lighting in this room, I'm actually considering getting a green screen. I don't know if you think that's like worth the investment, but
I mean, yeah, you could get one, and they're not that expensive actually. If you look at them on Amazon, you could get one. I didn't have like, listen, I'm not gonna tell you have to get one, because I didn't have one for the longest time. I just got one probably like a month ago, like last month.
Yeah.
I do like it because on StreamYard it's very easy, and you use StreamYard as well. You just, whatever background you want, you just download it, you put it there, and then it just says green screen, and you just click on it, and it just works. It's so easy. If you ever need help, I could help you out with that.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get one soon. I think it's definitely worth it. It looks.
Yes, cool. Definitely what Alex said. Please subscribe to Giants Alliance. That's your link. So yeah, and the link's in the description too. So there should be no excuse. And follow him on Twitter too. I put his Twitter in there as well if you guys have Twitter. I know you do use Twitter a lot. I see a lot of like you share like videos and stuff on there. So that's pretty cool. And
yeah, what I do, I basically will post what I put on my YouTube on Twitter if it's a highlight. Like every day I do like a Giants highlights.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a lot of old Giants videos on there, which is cool. Like, like when they play like some team. I remember one time you had against the Broncos or something. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, the Giants drive against the Broncos.
Yeah, how Eli Manning came back. And
I posted a video of Justin Tuck in the Super Bowl, like his highlights of all his sacks, and he like retweeted it, which I thought was cool. Like Steve Smith started following me because I posted his highlights on Twitter. So
Cam Chowder is hilarious. He says when Baker came back in the second half with a different mustache, I was out on it. He did that.
That was the weirdest thing ever. I forgot about that. That was crazy.
Baker was I'm not ready to give up on Baker yet. Like I said, I'm gonna give him this. I like to give quarterbacks 3 years. So this is third year. So if he doesn't do it, then I'm out on him pretty much, because it's like, come on. But you know what else happens? It's also funny is you see players that aren't good and they go to another team and they become good. Yeah. Like Tannehill last year, like in Miami, he wasn't that good, but in Tennessee, he had a decent year last year. He was pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even in college, you see so many of these great quarterbacks have transferred at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to find the right situation. And then, that's true in the NFL too. Like, I think you make a really good point about if Baker doesn't make a leap this year, I feel like he's never going to make it. Like from year 2 to year 3,
to do it in this year.
You have to improve. Like I don't think he will. I'm not as high on Baker as well.
What I think happened to him last year was sophomore slump. It happens to a lot of quarterbacks. Their second year, his first year was so good that he just couldn't match it. His second year, he fell down. Also, like the coaching.
And then the expectations, I feel like got in his head.
And the expectations were really high. Cleveland was like, everybody penciled them into the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't go there because, he didn't play well. He obviously did not play well. I can't make excuses for him, but what I will say is I want to give him one more last chance this year. And if he does not play well this year, then like you said, he's probably never going to play well.
Yeah, and he really has no excuses. Like he has the tight end.
I'm not a huge fan of him either, but whatever. I still couldn't believe that he was a first overall pick, because I thought it was going to be Sam Darnold. I thought Sam Darnold was a quarterback that people considered to be the best in that draft class.
I remember for like the entire year, it was just assumed that Darnold was going to be the first pick.
Oh my God, Colin Cowherd loves Darnold. He was like putting him up there with like the greatest, like he was comparing to like Peyton Manning. I was like, whoa, slow down. Let's not go that road again.
There's some people that are still so high on him too. Like Mike Greenberg is obviously very biased. He's a the guy on ESPN still considers Darnold like a top 5 quarterback.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it's just because the Jets never if he's not good, they got to stay away from USC because they had Mark Sanchez from USC, and I'm not saying Darnold is bad because I think he has talent. He has shown he's played well with. I mean, the Jets are really not a good organization. It's hard to succeed there.
Yeah, you're right. Like so many quarterbacks have to change teams to end up like being good because even though quarterback's by far the most important position, they're still so dependent on like the team around them. Like you saw Eli towards the end of his career. I really don't put that much blame on him. I think
at the end of his career, it was like I knew he should have just retired, but he
was definitely not as good the last few years. Yeah. Like he was much slower. His arm wasn't there.
His arm strength fell down too. Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like if he had a really good team around him, he could have still made the playoffs like most of those seasons. I think they're very much dependent on the system, the coaching, everything. So,
yeah, Darnold has more upgraded offensive line. I agree. Yeah, so that should kind of help.
The Jets did do a good job on their offensive line. I think Becton he's either going to be like really good, like an all pro caliber player because he's so big and athletic, or he can be a complete bust. I feel like there's no in between with him. But because he just like manhandles people. He's so big. But
I they got Denzel Mims because he needed a receiver. And they got Denzel Mims. What they screwed up on was not re-signing Robbie Anderson. They should have made sure that was who they re-signed, Robbie Anderson, because I don't think he got that much that they couldn't have re-signed him.
Yeah, that was a good point. In Carolina, I feel like he could be good with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
I think there was a lot of plays last year where he was wide open. Like he's a really fast receiver, and there was plays last year where he was wide open, and Darnold would just miss him, or Darnold will get sacked. But yeah, I feel like Darnold is just one of those quarterbacks. He was the same way at USC. He'll have some really good moments.
Yeah,
he's always going to throw those like 1 or 2 picks that are going to cost his team. So
that Patriots game was disgraceful, though. Like, I mean, I know he has a bad team, but to throw that many interceptions, that one where he threw, and then he got caught saying that he was seeing ghosts.
Yeah, that makes him look so bad. I can't believe the NFL would let that go out.
They leaked that on purpose, I think.
They're always like, whenever he throws an interception, somebody's gonna post that meme on Twitter that he's seeing ghosts. It's like for the rest of his career. I feel like that's gonna get in his head.
I couldn't believe that he said that. You know who I think is not that bad? I don't know if he's bad or good. Is Josh Rosen? I think he has had the roughest shake. Because
he had a really bad
in Arizona, which wasn't his fault. That team was atrocious. And then he gets traded to Miami, which is bad too. It's like the guy can't catch a break.
I remember like before the draft, I actually was higher on Rosen than Darnold. And I didn't want the Giants to pick a quarterback. I thought I knew Barkley was going to be good. I wasn't too high in any of the quarterbacks. But
people were saying Rosen was the most NFL-ready quarterback. Yeah. That's what they were saying.
Like the best pure passer. Like the most accurate passer. Yeah, you're right. He was in a really bad Arizona situation. And then Miami was
and they didn't really give him a chance in Miami either. They kind of like plucked him out pretty quickly.
Yeah, he had like no talent.
And now he'll never have a chance because they have Tua, so they're probably going to have to give him all the chances. So I wonder what happens to Rosen.
I thought that the Patriots would have been like a good situation.
That's the thing. I don't know if you could call Rosen a bust yet. I wanted him to go to. That's what I wanted him to do. Was if he went to New England, he would have been a monster over there.
Probably,
he would have been good there.
What do you think Cam Newton's going to do? Do you think?
I think he's going
to anything close to the way he was. Or?
I think he's going to be good there because he has something to prove.
Yeah, he's going to be motivated.
He's always been a guy that's been discounted, and he proved something. Like even when Carolina took him, people were like, "I don't think he's going to be that good as a number 1 overall pick." And he played pretty well in Carolina. I mean, they didn't have any receivers, and he carried that team to a Super Bowl.
That's a really good point. He's never had really good receivers at Carolina,
and he doesn't have it in New England. So
yeah, I mean, Edelman might be like the best receiver he's ever played with. I know he played. I think he might have played with Steve Smith for a bit, but maybe towards the end of the year, maybe not.
His career probably, and his best receiver was actually Kelvin Benjamin, who. What the hell ever happened to him? Like, Kelvin Benjamin used to diss Cam Newton, but now you don't even hear about Kelvin Benjamin anymore. He's completely gone.
Yeah, Newton is so talented. Like, if he's actually healthy, And in Josh McDaniel's system, he's never had a mobile quarterback, so nobody knows exactly how he's going to be used.
I think that's going to be interesting to see. A lot of people say the fit is not good, but I think they'll tailor the offense a little more around how he plays. Good coaches usually do that, you know?
Yeah. And McDaniels might be the best offensive coordinator.
He's not a good head coach at all, but he is he's a great offensive coordinator, and he usually knows how to tailor towards their needs. What's up, Big Ben 12? Welcome to the stream. Long time no see, friend. Cam is still talented. Yeah, this is the only thing is his health. That's the only thing I worry with Cam Newton. But we'll see because if it, either it works out really well. It's gonna be two things. Either it works out really well, or it's a just total failure, and they go back to Stidham or something. But
the only knock on the Cam Newton signing is that he was so dependent on being a mobile quarterback, and he used to be. I mean, he was so mobile. He was such a beast. He could run guys over. So if he's not 100% healthy and he's not able to use his legs, could he sit in the pocket and win?
That's my biggest concern. That's the only concern I have is the injury and all that. But when he is healthy, I think he'll be good.
Yeah, and he's motivated, like you said. So.
Let's not discount N'Keal Harry. We still have to see more from him, Rob. I don't know how he is. I mean, he's still he was a rookie last year, so.
Yeah, it's funny because Belichick. Obviously, the Patriots have been so good for so long, but at the same time, I feel like they never draft that well.
They never draft receivers, and you know what they always do? They always trade their pick. If they have a pick in the first round, they always trade back. It's like every single year.
Yeah, they drafted that safety this year, like the very athletic safety. I can't remember his name, but that was their first pick, and it doesn't seem like
kicker in the fourth round. I didn't get that pick. I mean, I know Patriots fans are gonna make that fourth round kicker pick. That was just weird. I mean, it's not that bad, but why? Like, I don't know.
Belichick definitely doesn't care what anyone thinks. Like,
he just does whatever he wants.
Does whatever he wants.
A lot of times it works out for him, so I can't really say anything.
I do think Belichick. I honestly think he's a genius when it comes to football.
He is. He's probably like, oh, you guys don't know how good this kicker is, though.
Yeah. At the same time, he's not perfect. So.
New England, they always have a good kicker. They always tend to have a good kicker.
Oh, Kyle Duggar. Yeah, Dirty Rob said Kyle Duggar was their first pick. And he's like a super athlete. Like he was the most athletic safety at the combine. He's like kind of like Isaiah Simmons in terms of his athleticism. But
Belichick loves tight ends too. That's another position. He drafted tight ends in the draft too. It's like what?
Yeah, I think he drafted 2 tight ends.
2 tight ends in the draft. Yeah, I was like,
and this wasn't a good draft. We'll end up finding like one of those guys end up being really good. So. That's how it always works.
I'm not saying not take a kicker, but you didn't need to take a kicker in the 4th round. I felt like that was really high. You could have got somebody. You can get a good kicker even later on.
I never believed in drafting a kicker, but I at the same time I just trust Belichick. Like if he thinks he's going to be good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Kyle Duggar compares to Rodney Harrison. He said, "Wow, that's huge praise."
Right there. You guys have good safeties already, though. Like you have Patrick Chung still on the team, I believe.
Oh, he don't like Rob does not like Patrick Chung.
He doesn't?
No, he thinks he's bad or something. I think
that's him on the Giants. I always thought he was pretty good.
Yeah,
but I think McCourty, even though he's a little bit older, McCourty is really good.
Oh yeah,
I would have loved he was supposed to be a free agent. The Patriots didn't let him hit free agency, but I would have loved him for the Giants before the draft. Any news on the Washington team names? No, so I don't think it's been official yet.
They removed the name. That's official, but they haven't changed it. They haven't added the name.
Yeah, but they've officially
been removed as of I think Sunday. They removed it.
Like even on their Twitter account, it's just Washington.
I don't know about that, but they said okay, we're they've confirmed that we're not using this name anymore, and we're going to go forward with the new name, and we're just thinking what the new name's going to be. But that guy stole all the domain names, so they're going to have to ask him to pay that guy. Why wasn't that guy? I wonder how much it costs to buy that name. He's probably going to make so much money off of it.
Yeah, I tried to make my website giantsalliance.com, but somebody owned it, and I could have bought it. I think it was $80. But I was like, nah, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna put my Giants. So people people just buy up domains. They'll buy up names for copyright purposes, so they can make money later.
Chung probably dropped 100 picks. Wow.
I obviously don't watch the Patriots as much.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I mean, Rob would know about Chung, but I always thought, because like when I hear announcers, they always talk about Chung like he's like some amazing safety, but I guess he's not that good, and people are overhyping him over there. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that play against Manningham in the Super Bowl when he actually made a really good play on the ball. Like he was so close to knocking it out of Manningham's hands, but it was a perfect pass. He's been on the team for a long time. Him and
Now that Chung isn't as good against the run, his time is super limited. Oh, okay. That's what it was. He was good against the run. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe Duggar will take over for him. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna end the stream in like 5 minutes. So just to let you know.
Yeah.
I know you probably have
a little bit running out of gas. It's like so hot in this room too.
Oh yeah, you don't have an AC there? I make sure to have.
I do, but it just doesn't work. And like this is the one room it doesn't work as well. So sometimes at night it gets a little bit too much.
Yeah, but this was so much fun, and thank you for coming on again, man. And you're always welcome to come on. You know, I always like having you as a guest. I want to do something like a Roundtable 2 on my channel one day, and yeah, you will definitely. I want to like have some people that I really like talking sports with. You know.
Yeah, that last Giants Roundtable we did, I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
But I love doing those, and
that was great coming on your channel doing the Giants talk and stuff. It was funny because we had all Giants fans, and then we had like a random Seattle Seahawks fan.
Oh yeah,
it was Brandon Rogers, but yeah. It was pretty fun though still.
But it was fun, yeah. And we had
I know you always have Big Blue Jabroni, which is awesome because I subscribe to him and I've been checking out his videos, and he's a pretty good YouTuber.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
I definitely want to get him on this channel one day if he's open to that. I don't know, but I'll definitely hit him up because I follow him on Twitter and I subscribe to him, and he's a smaller YouTube channel, but you know, he knows a lot about the Giants. I just think one thing is I think he's a little bit too optimistic about the Giants, though, just like you, David. Well, I don't know who's more optimistic, you or him.
I think I'm probably more optimistic than
him. Really? Because I don't know if you always thought the Giants were going to go 9-7.
I've changed. Yeah, I've gone from like 7-9 to 8-8.
Yeah. Which I'm not saying it can't happen. Like I'm not coming off like that, but in my personal thing, I just see them as more as a 7-9 team. But, anything could happen. It's 2 games. It could go either way. Football is very close, you know.
Yeah, anything could happen, really.
And there's always one team in the NFC that always surprises, and that could be the Giants.
Yeah, there's going to be a team that comes.
There's always one team from like the 49ers last year. Nobody thought they were going to. Oh, okay, not nobody. Dirty Rob, actually. He actually said the 49ers were going to be good. So credit to you on that. But most people did not think that they were going to be good.
Yeah, they went from the 2nd overall pick to Super Bowl. So
yeah.
I'm not saying the Giants are going to make the Super Bowl. They definitely won't, but I think they can make the playoffs. It's not like the craziest thing. So yeah, I love doing this, man. I appreciate it. I love these kind of conversations, even if it's not football. So I'm actually, because like I had a conversation with Lance Meadow today that went longer. So like we were talking about before, I want to make some videos that are called like podcasts. So that'll be my first podcast today. But yeah, like eventually I'd like to do like a conversation like this, like on my channel. When we get closer to sports, there'll be like a lot of topics to talk about when all these sports are going on.
Yeah, the reason I created this was so I could talk about stuff other than sports, but a lot of my subscribers are sports people. So it's always cool because I don't mind talking about it because I love sports at the same time. Sports is such a big thing in my life, but I love movies and all that other stuff as well. And I also created this because when COVID happened, I was like, oh my God, there's going to be like no sports really to talk about, you know, because basketball, baseball, everything got canceled at once. It was crazy, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be awesome when we have baseball, basketball, football all at the same time. And then it's going to be basketball.
AJ Marshall says, which Giants beat reporters do you follow on social media that you like?
I mean, honestly, I follow every single one of them. Like every Giants beat reporter I follow on Twitter. Like Dan, I forget his name, Dan Duggan for the Athletic. He's really good. I feel like he's not biased at all. Mm-hmm. But there's a bunch of good ones, like Art Stapleton I follow.
Yeah.
Even Jordan Rannon. I don't agree with him most of the time for his opinion stuff. but he does a good job too. Like I follow all the Giants beat reporters. I had Lance Meadow on my show today. I'm gonna probably put it out tomorrow.
Oh, that's great.
He's not really a beat reporter, but he works for the team. So he does an awesome job. John Schmelk, all those guys, Paul Dottino. So I follow like every single Giants person, I think. But yeah, is there somebody that you like better than others? Or
I mean, yeah, he's really good. I like that guy too. Duggan, yeah, he's the Giants beat reporters. I follow all of them too, just to see what they say. But he's like the most like least biased, like you were saying, you know.
Yeah.
So wait, like before we end this, I want to ask you, how did you get from 7-9 to 9-7? Like, what made you swing that way? Because it's only 2 games, but it does make a difference. Because 7-9, not playoffs. 9-7, playoffs, right? So how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wrote an article for my website, and I went through the schedule every single game, and I just don't see us losing 2 games to the Eagles and 2 games to the Cowboys like we have the last few seasons. I think we'll split with at least one of those teams. I think we're going to beat Washington twice. I think Pittsburgh is a very good team, a very good defense, even a dominant defense. But I do think we have a very good chance in that game. I think Chicago, we can possibly win. A lot of people have us going like 0-4 the first 4 games. We play Pittsburgh, Chicago, the Rams, 49ers as our first 4 games. But I definitely don't think we're going to go 0-4. I think we can win 2 of those games. I think we beat the Bengals. So basically my answer is I just went through the schedule and I just convinced myself that we could beat all these teams. But I'm really just guessing. It's like I feel like my guess.
That's all it is. At the end of the day, a prediction. Yeah, just predict. Yes, but like I mean, I agree with you with us beating at least the Eagles, the Cowboys too, because luckily we do play them at the end of like this is the last game we play the Cowboys. So maybe if they like rest their starters or whatever, but I think Blue Yeti Mike okay. Yeah, I have the same one. And I think that's where he got it from because I told him you should get this and he got it, which is great. It's great. Anytime I could help you, I mean, that's always good.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
We're still live, yes. What's up, Heat Nation? What's going on? He has Giants 9-7. He finds that funny. Hey, you never know. I mean, 7-9 and 9-7 is 2 wins. That's all it is. I want the Raiders to be good. I don't think they're gonna be. Wow. Yeah, he's an optimistic Giants fan. That's what
that's all I am. I'm just a Giants fan, so I'm gonna be biased towards my team. I try not to be too negative too. I feel like some people they'll complain about Gettleman so much, and they'll complain about how bad the team is, but it's just not fun to me. So.
And then Brandon Rogers says, "If we have a season, yes, this is all if we have a season. That's only we can only do hypotheticals for if we have a season. We can't guess that there won't be a season. I know a lot of people on YouTube have been complaining, like, why are we even talking football if we don't know if we're gonna have a season? Because we all assume that we are gonna have a season, whether it's shortened or whatever. But hopefully, we have a season. You know."
Yeah, this is what I do for fun. So, like, if let's say there's no sports, it's just like worst case scenario, and like everything gets canceled. What would you do on YouTube? Would you still talk about like the Giants and like football? And
yeah, I would still do it, but it'd just be painful because it's like, oh God, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, it would be
like I don't know. Like I would try to talk about topics and stuff, but it's like, what do you talk about when like there's no action? You know, like
yeah, I would still talk about the Giants. That's the thing. I would like end up talking about the draft or something, but I would definitely put out less content.
Yeah. Do you think college football will still happen? That's what I wonder about because that determines everything. Like if we don't have college football, then like do we have a draft? Like there's a lot of stuff that could go into that.
I think there's less of a chance than NFL. Like I think there's like Ivy League already canceled all their sports for the fall. The Patriot League also canceled their sports, I believe. There's no like interconference games. Mm-hmm. So like the Big Ten said they won't play any teams at a conference. It's not looking good for college football. I think it's harder to manage, especially with states. You can't like keep them in a bubble like you can for the NBA. So yeah, I have a feeling college sports will be canceled. I think the NFL will still play. I think NFL.
Oh yeah, I think Roger Goodell's on a mission to show that he's so man. That guy, if he was scared or something, he would have said, "Okay, we're gonna shorten this, that." He hasn't said anything about that. He's like, "We're having a season, and I don't care."
Yeah,
He's
I
so
think it's like,
tough on
if
it.
they canceled it, if they canceled the SEC, I
Yeah.
feel like the people in like Alabama and like Tennessee would have a riot. I don't think they would put up for that. So if they do cancel college football, I could still see it where like they play in certain conferences, like maybe only the SEC and the Big 12, but like the other conferences will cancel. I don't know. I could see something like that, but I'm just hoping we have regular football season. I'm
Me
trying
too.
to be optimistic.
I'm hoping we have regular football. I love fantasy football. I can't imagine a year with no football because we're getting baseball and we're getting basketball. Yes, it's limited and it's all these rules, but I'd rather have it that way than not at all. I just can't imagine it.
Yeah.
Even a shortened season, I'd rather have that than no season. No season would suck.
Yeah.
Because I've never went through my life without like no football. No, it's crazy. It's already been tough these few months that we've had with no sports in general. Like,
Yeah, it's such a strange time for me to start YouTube when there's no sports, but it'll be exciting when sports.
Goodell doesn't care, Brendan. Goodell is gonna do what he wants. I know that. That's the type of guy he is. Like, remember when Brady was trying to fight his suspension and trying to get out of it? Goodell was like, "Nope, I'm gonna make sure you get suspended." He doesn't like to be like, what do you call it?
He doesn't like to give in.
Yeah, he doesn't like to give in. Kind of. He will fight really hard, I think, to have a full season. The most he'll do is shorten it, but a full cancellation, if he does that, I would be shocked. I would be.
Yeah.
You guys got to think how much it hurts football to have a season completely.
I think we'll definitely have a season. In NFL, I think there's so much money to be made, and it just seems like they're headstrong. Like, we're going to play.
Yeah.
We'll figure out a way. I think there'll be a lot of setbacks and complications.
Oh yeah, people are going to be like missing games and stuff due to the virus, and they're going to have to be like 2 weeks quarantined, and all that's going to happen. But we're seeing that happening in baseball and basketball right now, and none of them have thought about canceling. They're just all systems go right now. So,
yeah.
And the Orlando bubble, like, that's still happening, which I'm surprised. But I guess there's parts in Orlando where it's not bad, because they're not allowed to leave like certain places. And actually, some people, did you hear about this story? Some people actually snitched and said, we saw these NBA players like leave their place or whatever, and they like got in trouble.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
In the bubble, you're not allowed to go too far from it, because if you do, then you're gonna expose yourself to the virus. The whole point of the bubble is that all these people, they get tested regularly, all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be an issue, because like, you're dealing with 22-year-olds who are like super athletes and they feel like they're invincible. So,
but did you hear that they came out with the vaccine recently? But it's not like completely done yet. But they're saying it strengthened people's immune system and it's working well. Hopefully this could come out. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and I feel like if anyone's gonna have it, like in the bebeginning, it would be millionaire athletes.
Yeah,
they'll be the first ones to get it, because
they will, like, it'll be mandated that they have to have it. Like, it's like for safety reasons,
Yeah, but I can wait for the liquid vaccine though. Like, when everyone could just go back.
Yeah, the first thing, they're gonna have to make sure it's safe for everybody. That the vaccine is safe to get for everybody.
I think they're
trying right now, and this is the latest update. You got to look into it. Like, there actually is, and you know what they're trying to come out with is a nasal vaccine that you just spray in your nose or something like that, and that's actually more effective than the one that you take in your arm, apparently, because coronavirus does spread through like the nose and mouth and all that.
So the nasal vaccine was like invented in the United States, or is this something?
Like, they're working on it, like in other countries and stuff,
Yeah.
Eventually,
with all the countries working together on the same vaccine,
eventually they're
gonna find something. There's so many smart.
I think they will. The only thing is so hard is that coronavirus can mutate and stuff like that. So that's the tricky part. But hopefully they do, because life is tough with like this, man.
Yeah, I think people are just, after a while, they're gonna. I mean, I guess everyone's going crazy already, but yeah, I don't know how much longer it can last like this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man, I appreciate you coming on. I did the hour and a half conversation with Lance Meadow today. So I don't I feel like I wasn't on my A game.
No.
And I apologize for that.
I'm so happy. Like, you know what's crazy? We've been talking for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it does not feel like it at all because
no, it went by fast, man. I can't
we started
at 8. For some reason, I thought we started at like 9 today.
No, yeah, we started at 8, which is such a great conversation. And I want to thank you for coming on again. And guys, if you haven't, please subscribe to Giants Alliance. All the links is in the description. His Twitter's in the description as well. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, man, I appreciate you having me on. I love having these kinds of conversations. So hopefully we could do this again soon in the future. And I love when you come on my channel, man, for like the round tables.
Of course.
And I've always loved watching your channel, coming to your live streams, hanging out. Yeah, just check out my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And I know you're gonna get to 1,000 subscribers soon. You definitely deserve it. You're a very hard worker, but you're also a very, very good guy. Like I do appreciate everything you've done for my channel. So you definitely deserve it.
Thank you. Like I said, so we're gonna end this Precision podcast. This was so much fun. You know, please subscribe to Giants Alliance. Help him grow. You know, that's the best thing is we all help each other grow. You know, and he has such great content there. Knows a lot about sports. Always love talking to him. And me and him agree on a lot of stuff. Not all the time, but for most of the time. You know. And so please subscribe to him, follow him on Twitter and all that stuff. And we're out of here, everybody. Have a good night. Like I said, me and David and Lewis Sports Network and Alex are going to do a stream on Alex Sports Channel on Saturday. So go there on Saturday night. We'll be doing a roundtable there. So that'll be great. And also, Dirty Rob is going to go live after this. So guys, check out his channel. Subscribe to him. He's helped me out so much. And yeah. See you guys. We're out of here. See you around the bend. And thank you again, Giants Alliance. And peace out, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks.